Yeah,
Mm,
I reconnected, I went live again on the YouTube. Um, so where on the Aipna page can I see it?
mm.
You see a scroll there?
Yes, I do. Yep. It says video is unavailable now.
Yeah,
Ah, why?
exactly. I also checked, like, yeah, it showed for like a couple of seconds and it just went away.
But yeah, video is enabled.
No,
It
it's not.
takes to the YouTube actually now.
Watch this
It's
video.
If I
taking, but it's not streaming.
No, he's live again.
Is it?
Let me see. No, he's not.
No, no.
No, he's not.
I'm still live on the YouTube, so
Are you sure? Because I don't see it. See.
No, no.
I'm still live on the YouTube, so
One second. Can you check now on Ipna?
yeah, it still says the same thing. Video unavailable. Let's see if it gets live streamed to the YouTube now.
One second. Can you check now on Ipna?
Yeah, it still says the same thing. Video unavailable.
One second.
Yeah, same thing. Let's see if it gets live streamed to the YouTube now.
One second. Can you check now on Ipna?
Still says the same thing. Video unavailable.
Second.
Yeah, same thing. Let's see if it gets live streamed to the YouTube now. Yeah, same thing.
There's no live stream. 5 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Hi, everybody. Nice to get the voice back. Hi, Dr. Lanjavar, Anand, Raghu, Monica.
Welcome, Dr. How are you?
Hi, Renuka.
Hi.
All the very best for hosting today.
Thank you. I hope it goes well. I don't know
Yeah.
whether
Yeah,
you're able
all the
to,
very best for viewing also.
are you able to see me clearly?
Yeah, I haven't seen Binny so far. Binny ji,
Okay.
पर्दा उठाएंगे?
Let me turn off my phones on vibrate
Sure, sure.
and
Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
Binny. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for all your hard work. Anil was saying you are a live wire,
Oh my God,
helping out
no,
so much. Thank you very much.
no. Mhm. Sure.
okay. Are you able to see my screen and my monitor or not as yet?
Not as it.
Okay. So, but you can see me.
Yeah. रेणुका आपका क्या लैपटॉप का लेंस में कुछ लगा है क्या? बहुत पतले लग रहे हो, क्या बात है?
I wish it was the lens doing the tricks. Okay, let me see. Why can't I see myself if I have my screen on? And I can't see any one of you.
If you put the participants thing,
I can see you, but I don't see anybody else.
oh,
Maybe you're the one talking, that's why. If anybody else talks, maybe I can see.
no, if you put the participants, it gives you tabs of all of them.
Yeah, it should. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see.
Maybe it's my looks, so I will switch
Yeah.
off my video. You can see others.
Oh, it should show because yesterday it was showing everybody.
Can you see me now?
Welcome, Anil, for the meeting. We can see you now.
Hello, Dr. Godby. Welcome to the meeting.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for asking.
Hi, Pat. Hi, Pat. Lovely to see you. Thank you.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Raghav, did you find out how to mute the other people? And
Yes, I did. Do you want me to mute you now?
fine. Did Renuka, you got your PowerPoints done?
Yes, they're ready.
Okay.
She's missing her screen though.
No, now I can see it.
So, Raghav, I had a question. So to go into our PowerPoints, do I go into my folder and then go? I have to do that, right?
So open your PowerPoint first and then click the share screen button at the bottom, the green button. So that will share your desktop screen, whatever is there on your desktop screen, and that will we can see it.
Give me a second here.
Monica, you need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, sorry. Anil, what I did was I opened my PowerPoint, so it's already open on my screen. So as soon as I share my screen, that I will see that window. So you could open your PowerPoint and leave it open on your desktop.
Yeah, I have it here now.
Hmm.
It covers the whole screen. That's the problem.
Try sharing. Yeah.
Are
Can
you
you
able
see?
to see
Yeah.
that screen?
You can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
No, this is my screen probably you can see because I'm in the sharing. Are you able to see my screen, Raghav?
Yes, I can see your screen. So you're sharing the screen. So, so if Dr. Press, only one person can share the screen.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so he can
Right.
share.
Perfect. Thank you. I can see Professor Dr. Lanjevar joining us. Hello, Dr. Lanjevar.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, good evening.
Good to see you. And Dr. Borges also
Yeah.
joined us.
Yeah, hi. It's very early in the morning here, so good morning from India.
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning to you and good evening to all our people joining
Yes.
from here.
Hi, Anita. Welcome. This is
Hi,
Bush here.
hi. Hi, Bush.
How are you?
Dr. Prasad, now you may share your screen.
You know, if I share my screen, then Renuka won't be able to.
No, we can try. You do it because then you have to stop sharing it and then I can get.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 6 more minutes to go live. Means we are already live here, but to start the program.
I think we crossed 360 registrants.
Oh, 360, that's the number? Okay.
I think so. Monica has the correct number, I think.
So the Excel sheet I have is about 260, but I know that after the Excel sheet, there are about There were a few more. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30, 40 more. So right about 300, I think.
Okay. So Renuka, when you finish,
I'll call you.
okay, and then I can just, because I'm going to initially just talk. Okay. And for that, I have to share the screen and do that.
If you're just going to talk, you may not have to share the screen. Only when PowerPoint is there, then you need the screen.
Is that correct, Raghav? So if I'm talking, you can see me on the big screen now?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay.
I would like to wish all my American friends a very happy good evening and good morning to all of you. This is Dr. Deepak Mishra from Calcutta.
Good morning.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra.
Hello.
Yeah, Rajan. Yeah, Rajan.
Yeah, Anil, I'm really sorry to bother you, but I think, I'm not finding this.
Raghav.
Yes, Dr. Prasad.
Can you just send an email like you sent it to me with the link to Dr. Shah, Rajal B. Shah?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thanks.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Megha.
Hi, Megha.
Hi. Yeah. Hello. Hi, Renuka.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
I see.
Hi, Dr. Lanjivar.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Dr. Lanjevar.
Hi.
And I
Hi,
see.
Megha. Nice to see you.
Hi, Anita.
Hi.
Oh, Anita, I don't see a
Yes.
picture. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I know that. It's very early in the morning.
It's okay. We're all one big family here.
True.
Ashraf is there.
Morning, Anil.
Yes, I can see Srini. Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good
Yeah,
evening.
it's good evening to you and good morning to us.
Yes.
Thank you for joining Jim and Rick Gomez.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, hi, Megha.
Dr. Borges.
Hi, Anil.
Hi.
Hi, Rick. Megha.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
Jim.
evening.
Congrats on Kappa. It was wonderful. I'm going to be a member of Kappa. That's it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good meeting. It's good meeting. Thank you for participating. We will support you.
I want to go to China. So that's it.
Let's do it when it's open. Now it's hard. Let's go there with Dr. Godwin, Gomez, and together. Vogue. I think we planned last year, but somehow, actually, the pandemic just started, so we stopped.
I look forward to it.
Should resume that one. And we planned already, right, Dr. Godwin? And the virus interrupted.
We did.
So Jim, this is Don. I would like to come too.
Hey, Don.
Hi, Don.
I'll be on that. I'll be on that team.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming to Kappa meeting yesterday.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It was a great meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, and we had WeChat. We talk about you, and thank you for your interest in CEP and the Kappa too.
Oh, well, yeah, once again, it was my pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I think it's 8 p.m. now. I think we should get started.
All right.
Hello, everybody. On behalf of Aipna, I, Renuka Melanie, welcome you to this 27th General Body Meeting of Aipna. This meeting is being conducted virtually via Zoom and being streamed live through YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and other social medias. More than 300 participants have registered from all over the world and are able to attend this event despite being in different time zones. Dr. Anil Prasad, our president of Aipna, had this dream to bring all of us together in this unique way, even during this time of social distancing. It was his leadership and inspiration that motivated the executive committee members to work hard and achieve this goal. With that, I take this opportunity to introduce our outstanding Aipna executive board members to all of you. I hope you are able to see my screen now.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, how about
now
it?
we see you, yes.
Okay, so our president is Dr. Anil Prasad, who is got great leadership qualities and a great vision for Aipna. He wants Aipna to grow more and more in leaps and bounds. He encourages each and every member to participate in various Aipna activities. Our vice president is Dr. Rajul B. Shah. He is a very renowned GU pathologist and has been the past treasurer of Aipna. Dr. Ashraf Khan was the past president. During his tenure, Aipna did great work. He has served in various committees earlier. He was the chair of the CME committee and he was the international CME coordinator in the past. If you know Aipna, you know Dr. Megha Joshi. She has been associated with Aipna for the longest time.
Start the video. They're going to see you. Okay.
And now she has decided to step down from her position as the executive vice president. It was a challenge to find one person to fit into her shoes. So as a result, we have two executive vice presidents, Safina Hafiz and myself, Renuka Melanie. Dr. Bhus, that's how we call him. He is the executive director of Aipna. And in addition to that, he's also the co-chair of Education Committee, and he's the editor of the Aipna newsletter, which you all get so very regularly. Our treasurer is Dr. Vijay Lakshmi. She is holding the finances very well for Aipna. And now with the new website, she is encouraging everybody to become members, to renew your membership, and to donate through the website. Dr. Bharti Bose, she is the better half of Dr. Bose, is the secretary of Aipna. She is also the co-chair of the Education Committee. We have a Canada representative, Dr. Mona Lisa Soor. She is based at Hamilton, Ontario. Our Education Committee is composed of 4 members. I have already introduced Dr. Bhus and Dr. Bharti. In addition, we have Dr. Lagu and Dr. Harish Mani. Dr. Lagu is very actively participating and he has shown great interest with his team in reviewing the abstracts for the residents for the Resident Abstract Award. We thank him so much for that. Our CME coordinators are Dr. Nirag Jhala and Dr. Srinivas. They have been actively working. Just last month, a CME was conducted in India and it was held virtually. They did a fabulous job there. We have our molecular pathologists who do organize a lot of CMEs. They have done it in the past, Dr. Preeti Lal and Dr. Pritesh Bhattacharya. Recently, a research fellowship award has been introduced and our committee is composed of Dr. Parul Bhargava and Dr. Metul Amin, and they are working very hard to look for the right candidate for this award. Dr. Monica Roy Chaudhary, she is the chair of the web committee, and she has been working very hard. You can see the results of her hard work if you visit the Aipna website. And in a few minutes after this, you will see what she has done for this website. She will talk to you and give you the introduction to that website. Dr. Raghavendra Pillappa is the chair of the social media, and it is because of his and his team's hard effort that we are all having this virtual show with so much of participation from all over the world. Dr. Romil Saxena, Dr. Rifat Manan, and Dr. Meenakshi Singh, they are supporters of Aipna. They have been working very hard behind the scenes. If you remember last year, Dr. Rifat, he worked very hard to have the live streaming of our Aipna GBM all over the world. We are looking for a resident representative. We have received 50 applications so far. And if you are really interested residents, please apply so that we can consider you. We are proud to have very eminent pathologists, Dr. Vijay Joshi and Dr. Vinay Kumar as our patrons, and they require no introduction. Everybody knows them. Dr. Achut Bhattacharya and Dr. Vijaya Reddy are our advisors, and they have been working very hard, and they advise us at a lot of times in our Aipna committee meetings. Before we move further into today's event, I have some housekeeping items to review with you. First of all, I will request all of you to please remain muted during the event and during the educational talk. You will be given an opportunity after the talk for your questions, which will be answered. That time you will be unmuted. The chat box window will be available where you can put in your comments. You can also post your questions there and they will be addressed as well. With that, I would like to invite Dr. Anil Prasad to address the general body and also to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Anil.
Unmute. All right. Thank you, Renuka, for that excellent introduction. And, I just got texted by Bakul Dalal, and it's my fault. I forgot to give you his name as member at large. Bakul comes and goes. So Bakul, thank you for all your efforts for the Aipna Executive Committee. Okay, with that, small housekeeping, housekeeping comment, let me welcome dear fellow Aipna members and esteemed invited guests. It is really a privilege and a pleasure to welcome you to this 27th annual virtual GBM, our first time ever in conjunction with the 110th ASCAP meeting. Each of us have been impacted by the pandemic, some more profoundly than others. But together, we have exhibited resilience and tried hard to make the best of a bad situation. Our deepest condolences to the families of so many renowned pathologists we lost in the recent past. Despite challenging times, we, the people of the world, have adapted and shown our creativity. Zoom and other technologies have come to our rescue and allowed us to stay connected. And I must say, at least it holds good for me, even if accidentally we are on mute sometimes. Hats off to the perseverance and devotion of my fellow executive board members. We at Aipna have continued to make strides in serving the needs of our members better, besides keeping sight of our mission in trying to exchange state-of-art information as well as persevered some kind of a collaborative work with pathologists in India and elsewhere in the world. In March 2019, when I took up this daunting role of leading this organization, my fellow executive board members and I very quickly recognized the fact that Aipna needed a meaningful and functioning website. After all, it was way back in, I guess, 1991, when I think it was Tom Lee Barnes, who I think Tim Barnes-Lee, they had launched the term World Wide Web way back in 1991. And here in 2019, we at Aipna were trying to boost up our portal of communication. Today, thanks to our web development team, I'm proud to announce that our website, which we have launched and still improving, by the way, has brought us more visibility, helped us recruit new members and talent, and has made it easier for existing members to pay their dues, etc. But more importantly, I'm looking for a portal where there is some kind of a, it needs to be dynamic. We're not looking at just an information only website. We want this portal to be a dynamic platform of exchange of collaborative ideas between various pathologists they can tap into, see whom they can seek out in the US and elsewhere who have similar interests, and probably help them with research projects, etc. And of course, all this is dependent on the input and involvement by each one of you, dear members. The other feather in our cap, if I may say so, was the introduction of the live educational webinars, which went really blockbusters with our inaugural session with Dr. Vinay Kumar way back in October 2019. And then it was followed by another great talk by Romil Saxena on liver pathology, probably in the month of January, if my memory serves me correct. And then we were supposed to have some more speakers. Actually, one of our speakers whom we already had tapped and who has graciously agreed. And Anita, you're in the audience, and we will reach out to you again if you would allow us. And we would be really ecstatic if you would agree to be our next speaker on this live educational webinar.
My pleasure, Anil.
Thank you. Besides doing the live educational webinars, we also boosted our social media platforms. And I can't thank enough the chair of the social media committee, Raghav, who is the guy who's hosting this Zoom platform today, as well as his team members, especially one of our residents, younger junior members, Vinny Khandakar, who took this all that is happening in Aipna, all the updates, trying to distribute it to the other pathologists in the world, if you will. And all this with the intention of getting good feedback and making it a platform or a collaborative platform where all of us can exchange ideas, exchange our issues, our practices, challenges within the US, Canada, UK, elsewhere, all over the world. Our CAP breakfast webinar series, we have an educational event during the breakfast, during our annual CAP meeting in October of every year. We have launched 3 of them last year because of the COVID and with a lot of uncertainty, we didn't have one, but we are planning to continue that. Our last GBM, just when COVID was striking in February of last year, 2020, took place in LA, in JW Marriott Hotel, and it was very well attended. At that time, we had partially experimented with beaming the educational webinar segment of our GB general body meeting to the whole world. And we, Rifat Manan and his partner Emilio, they helped us with their product called Pathcast, where Mehul Amin's talk, a wonderful talk on GU pathology and the journey of pathology, his journey in pathology, and what's coming into the pathology world, was very well received all over. And people, the best part was there were people who were listening to it live. So we are taking baby steps. We are getting there. There's a lot to accomplish. So today we took a step further. Our whole meeting, right from get-go, when Renuka welcomed you, is being beamed live all over the world. And for that, unfortunately, this time we didn't have Pathcast, but we decided, why not have our own YouTube channel? Why not have our own Facebook Live? And as I'm speaking right now, our social media committee team is going, I think they're so active, doing Twitter, Instagram, Telegram. I don't know. I don't even know all these platforms, but they're really prolific in all these platforms and sending messages here and there. The other important event which Aipna has been participating in is an educational, it's almost a half or a 3-hour or 4-hour half-day event in ASCP as a part of their annual meeting, where, the last time it was a virtual meeting, which was on geopathology at the annual ACP meeting in, I think it was September, if I'm correct, and September 12th, I think, and because I attended one of them. It was moderated by Nirag Jala, and we had two excellent speakers, Dr. Ming Zhao from Tufts Medical Center, who talked on renal tumors with pink cytoplasm. And I think Rajal Shah spoke on cribriform carcinoma, prostatic carcinomas with cribriform architecture, etc. So, things I think are going in the right direction. Of course, a lot of work needs to be done. We are trying to inculcate leadership qualities among our junior members. We're also, kind of dangling the carrot, if you will, to participate in Aipna events and in leadership platforms and attend these meetings. And we started off, of course, this has been received very well, where we started the Resident Best Abstract Award. So, USCAP has this Best Abstract competition, where, thousands of, participants, especially residents, they put in their posters and platforms, abstracts. And so we pick some of the best abstracts from those entries, and then we give our own awards from Aipna. And that is being received very well. I've been getting emails and messages from residents saying how much they appreciate, for us trying to encourage more participation and more of people trying to do research. I think that's very important. That is a segue for me to talk about the initiative that we just started a couple of months ago, called the President's Initiative for Aipna Pathology Research Fellowship Grant. When I say presidents, it's with the apostrophe is after the plural presidents. It's not just me. It's myself included, but there are other past presidents, and I have to recognize their efforts and their graciousness and generosity. And they are Anand Lagu, Meenakshi Singh, Megha Joshi, Bakul Dalal, Ashraf Khan, and Nirag Jhala. So this is just a seed money which we have put in, just like an endowment, which hopefully will grow. Other people can pitch into this fund. And the idea is that we can foster some kind of a basic research activity in pathology, which some of our residents or junior faculty members are undertaking here in the US, but with the caveat that they need to collaborate with some like-minded resident or junior faculty member in India or elsewhere in the world, who have similar interests. And together, we want a proposal to be put up, which hopefully, if it is something which merits, funding in terms of longevity, in terms of, some kind of a state-of-art groundbreaking research, maybe. And I leave it to our fellowship award committee, Parul, Bhargava, Mithul Amin, and Meenakshi Singh to decide on that. And so I welcome people who are in the audience. Please, yourselves, as well as please let your friends know that they can tap into Aipna. There will be a portal where they can put in their application. There's a simple form to fill. And, we can get you connected with the relevant faculty member for any advice you need. So in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, the future of Aipna is bright. And it will be bright if every member makes a commitment to serve, to recruit, to donate, and help fundraise, be engaged, or simply participate. Let me put it that way. And the operative word here is every member. Every is the word. And with that, I think we can really build an organization which can have some depth and credibility. Like so many others in similar roles in various other organizations, I'm living and learning. With the position and title comes a deep sense of accountability and sense of duty. And I don't know what I was thinking. Every day I get up, even in my most hectic days, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what can I do for Aipna? How can I improve Aipna? And how do I encourage younger members? How do we keep the sustenance of this wonderful organization, which our patrons and the people the pioneers of Aipna pathology, Dr. Joshi is one of them. He's here. Megha was instrumental, and all this happened 25 years ago, and we're still standing. So I hope we continue. So thank you for that. I have exactly about 5 minutes, maybe, to introduce our main event here, and that is our keynote speaker, which is Dr. Bharat Nathwani. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really my pleasure and an honor to invite Dr. Nathwani, Professor of Pathology and Director of Pathology Consultation Services at the City of Hope National Medical Center, California. When I was going to see what I can talk about Dr. Nathwani, I asked him for his CV. And I saw his CV and I was ready to print his CV. Then I realized it's like a booklet. And my printer would have run out of ink and paper if I were to print that. So I'm just going to give you a little bit. I mean, you can read and Google him and you will get everything, the lowdown about him. But I would like to just mention a few words that Dr. Nathwani graduated from Grant Medical College, Bombay, India in 1968, and continued as a resident in the same institution in Bombay for his pathology residency. And then following that, I think he went on to Cook County Hospital in Chicago for a fellowship in clinical hematology and subsequently hematopathology fellowship at City of Hope. Needless to say, Dr. Nathwani has received numerous awards, honors from, teaching awards from the American Society of Clinical Pathology, from the University of Southern California, from City of Hope, He has traveled to, my God, Egypt, Greece. He's been the IP divisions, all the IP divisions, international, Germany, Paris, Bangkok. I can go on and on and on. He's been invited and has really helped teach hematopathology. The last 2 minutes, what is very important for me to say, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Most of us, we know how important morphology is for diagnosing disease. Most of the diseases can be diagnosed by pure morphology. And we need to resort to ancillary studies, especially things like immunohistochemistry, very few times, especially when we encounter zebras, or these days for therapeutic and prognostic purposes. We need to do actionable biomarker studies, etc. So morphology is something which is what Dr. Nathwani emphasizes. And to that end, he has graciously shared 3 seminal publications of his, which are now out on the website in Aipna, as well as on Facebook. Our social media team is taking care that all these 3 publications, that he just chose 3 of them, and I can see why. I read all 3 of them. One was a book chapter on the diagnostic significance of morphological patterns of lymphoid proliferations in lymph nodes. Amazing chapter. I think it's in neoplastic hematopathology. The other was a review article in Advances in Anatomic Pathology, addressing the critical role of histology in the era of genomics and proteomics. And the third, my favorite, was The Art of Histologic Diagnosis. Amazing book chapter, and I would highly recommend everyone to read. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my good friend, Dr. Bharat Nathwani. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Yes, I've got so many friends and colleagues that I'm delighted to be talking and sharing with you whatever I have to say today. So without further delay, I have 1 hour and I want to finish my talk if I can.
Arrow.
I'm doing arrow. This one, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as you know, the title is Critical Value of Detecting Multiple Patterns in Pathologic Processes. And as you know, the pathology is a visually diagnostic subspecialty. The most important methods for identifying pattern in pathologic processes will be repeated by me. I will show about approximately 75 slides with pictures, headers, and composites. The remaining 25 slides will be text slides, and they're pretty heavy. Well, this is the outline of my presentation. Here it is: lessons learned from experience, fundamental evidence why patterns are important, patterns of different types, spherical and non-spherical structures. Process to accurately identify patterns consists of several specific methods, which I'll be emphasizing and showing, and exhibition and correlation of different patterns with cytologic features, immunostains, and diagnosis. So I'm going to go to the first one, and I have 12 slides, and there'll be 12 lessons, and there'll be 3 slides. Well, after many years, I realized that we don't know what we don't know. We recognize what we know. All recognition is done by the mind and none by the eyes. Thus, if the mind does not know, we cannot recognize what is present, and therein lie the dangers of making wrong diagnosis. The more we know, the more we see, because of recognition and experience, due to acquired experience and imprinting of images in the mind for instant accurate recall when encountered again. This is slide number 2 of this lessons learned in experience, the process of imprinting of images in the mind for instant accurate recall. This is something not appreciated readily, so I'm going to be emphasizing this repeatedly. Each histologic feature and its spectrum gets imprinted in the mind as a separate image. Those images that form the histologic criteria of diseases are tightly linked and get imprinted as hierarchical clusters forming patterns. For imprinting to occur systematically and for accurate instance recall, slides cases must be studied critically at each of the different magnifications, 1x objective, 2x, 4x, so on and so on till you can go to your oil immersion if you wanted to, using a methodical approach. Using a methodical approach consistently and continuously reinforces precise imprinting and hence instant accurate recall. The last slides pertaining to the lessons learned from experience, what we see and how we diagnose is greatly influenced by our concepts about pathogenesis of lymphoid diseases. How we use histologic, immunophenotypic, and other criteria that we use in our daily diagnostic practice to make diagnosis. The approach and the methods we use in our diagnostic practice to detect pathologic areas, and the problem-solving strategies we use to resolve a differential diagnosis, and the knowledge and the experience required to integrate all information available. Making histologic diagnosis and imprinting of immunohistochemical stains and integrating these with the clinical and other information is an art and not a science. The next thing is, for me, after this lessons learned, is the fundamental evidence why patterns are important. So I'm going to provide you conclusive evidence. I have 21 reasons, and I have 3 slides pertaining to these reasons. So the specific evidence comes from the WHO Blue Book, that's our Bible. The frequency of low-grade lymphomas in the WHO book is low-grade B-cell lymphomas has more than 60%. Follicular lymphoma is 29%, and it is a follicular, and diffuse, inverse follicular, and marginal zone patterns. And mixed patterns also coexist, that's very common. Mantle cell lymphoma again is about 7%, and it has again multiple patterns that you can see here. All marginal zone lymphomas of mold, splenic, and nodal marginal zone, and again multiple patterns are present. CLL and SLL comprise about 12% of the low-grade lymphomas, and when you see the proliferation centers throughout or in the interfollicular areas, or form an inverse follicular and marginal zone patterns, or colonize follicles, or exhibit mixed patterns. So one pattern, multiple patterns, and for each disease there's multiple patterns. And depending on what it's doing, you got to recognize them. Of course, immunostains are very valuable. And then, of course, you have lymphoplasmacytic lymphoma, which is a rare lymphoma. And again, it has multiple patterns. What is the frequency of high-grade lymphomas? Well, the diffuse large B-cell lymphoma and Burkitt's lymphoma comprise about 37%. Diffuse large B-cell lymphoma is, in a way, in my mind, a waste paper basket, because all B-cell lymphomas low grade will progress to the diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. Burkitt's lymphoma is rather very homogeneous. The frequency of anaplastic large cell lymphoma, angioimmunoblastic T-cell lymphoma, and T follicular helper cell lymphomas, which has multiple patterns. And finally, the old Hodgkin's lymphoma of nodular lymphocyte, nodular sclerosis, mixed cell type, and they have all typical patterns and histologic features. Next slide. The additional evidence why patterns are important. The WHO classification states all lymphomas, shows you that all lymphomas are named after patterns they form. Lymphomas with typical histologic features have typical patterns, thus they are readily diagnosed. Many benign proliferations are named after patterns. Follicular hyperplasia, mantle zone hyperplasia, marginal zone hyperplasia. Since all diseases start in one cell focally, the nodal architecture is preserved. Thus, every nodal compartment must be examined carefully to accurately detect normal areas, then find abnormalities and patterns of different types. All patterns of a histologic pattern of a spectrum and multiple patterns coexist. Accurate identification provides the cheapest, fastest, and most cost-effective and critical initial diagnostic information that remains that permits formation of a narrow differential diagnosis. And this is true not only in lymph node pathology, in all specialties that we look at the H&E slides. Based on H&E slide architecture and cytology, still today, histologic diagnosis is the first most important diagnostic text, which dictates all of the studies, tests that will be required to make an accurate diagnosis. So I do this. I don't look at the clinical history. I don't look at who sent me the case and so on and so forth. I just look at the slides first and I form a differential diagnosis, because clinical history can be very important and previous reports can bias you also very badly. Next last slide, without knowing patterns, accurate diagnosis cannot be made. High magnification examination is very important, obviously. Cytologic review often clarifies or confirms the cells that forms these patterns. Towards this end, immunostains are most useful in establishing the precise histogenesis of the cells that form the patterns present in that slide. Also, molecular cytogenetic studies often provide further necessary information that may confirm or disprove the diagnosis under consideration. Therefore, I will show you about 50 images, pictures of different types of histologic patterns that occur in lymph nodes and from which compartmental cells they arise or are created, and the differential diagnosis of each pattern. So now I'm going to go on to the different patterns, which are categorized into two main categories: spherical and non-spherical structures. So here are the 12 spherical structures that I have enlisted here. Follicular pattern, my antral zone pattern, marginal zone pattern, mantle cell nodular pattern, marginal zone nodules, follicular colonization, and inverse follicular. These are in green because they deal with the three compartments, follicular, mantle, and marginal zone, and how they grow inside and so on and so forth. Inverse progressively transformed germinal centers is when there is intermingling of this different type of cells plus more. The lymphocytic and histocytic nodules, or the LP nodules, that are described and shown and illustrated first by Lukes and Collins in 1963, and then obviously by many others subsequently. Proliferation centers normally do not occur in lymph node, but they are, once you learn to recognize these, it's a very easy diagnosis to make of a small lymphocytic lymphoma. Then paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia is adjacent to the follicles. And then we have a fibrous nodular pattern, which is completely non-specific. And there are 9 types of non-spherical patterns, which, for example, Steiners pattern, interfollicular pattern. In the Lennert's pattern, there is marked proliferation of epithelioid cells, and that is the predominating finding. Mottling pattern, vascular pattern, necrosis, diffuse, starry sky, non-follicular areas. There are multiple patterns can coexist together, and we have to identify and specify each of them. And then there are miscellaneous patterns. Careful identification and estimation of these patterns permits formation of a narrow and a specific differential diagnosis. It's rather a narrow and a specific differential diagnosis. So here is we see in the lymph nodes 1-layer ball-like structures. Then we normally see 2-layer spherical ball-like structures, and the arrangements of the colors of the compartments, these 2 compartments, the mantle zone and the follicular central cell, this is a normal arrangement, as you see this at low magnification. The inverse arrangement is again at low magnification, inverse arrangement of the colors that you see in a normal follicle, where the light color is on the outside at low magnification and the dark color is in the inside. And for this, you can use the word inverse or reverse arrangement. And then you have, of course, ball-like structures. There are 3 layers, the marginal zone pattern. And this you see also in the normal spleen, all of these different types of ball-like structures coexisting. And the word marginal zone pattern was indeed first coined in the spleen about 50, 60 years ago. So here you have on the left side, 1-layer ball-like structures with a back-to-back pattern, and they are poorly defined, and all of them have the same color. So this is a typical follicular lymphoma, exceedingly easy diagnosis, and the color of the cells tells me that this is a large cell lymphoma. Of course, you should confirm it by looking at cytologic features. Then you have ball-like structures, 2 layers. This is a normal follicle, hyperplastic. You have a dark color on the outside, the mantle zones, the reactive germinal centers. So all on the top are 2-layer ball-like structures here. And then you have a mantle cell nodule, mantle cell nodule, mantle cell nodules. And the yellow arrows point to the 1-layer ball-like structure, which are mantle cell nodules. And they very often coexist with the for the normal germinal centers with the follicular center and a mantle zone. And then, of course, we have 3-layer ball-like structures. This is a marginal zone pattern, and this is a marginal zone lymphoma, where you have a germinal center, the mantle zone, a blue color, and the marginal zone right here. So 3-layer ball-like structures, 3 layers, 3 layers, 3 layers, 3 layers, and 3 layers. This is an inverse follicular pattern, where the germinal center here in these follicles is absent, and you have a mantle zone which is surrounded by a marginal zone or a second layer, which look at the color of these cells in the marginal zone. It's identical to each other. So looking at the color, you know it's the same population. The process to accurate identify patterns consists of several specific methods, and the methods are very important. And I'm going to show you 5 text-heavy slides, and this is the first of the 5 specific methods to identify patterns. Accurate pattern recognition requires knowledge of about the different types of patterns, their formation, and careful utilization of specific methods to detect them accurately. Moreover, these detection methods are usually not used by pathologists, because now the pathologists have adopted an approach to upfront order flow cytometry, 20 immunostains, molecular studies, and after the results come, then they look at the histology, and then they laugh, okay? These detection methods must be all learned slowly, practiced systematically and consistently to become a skillful diagnostician, which takes time, effort, and commitment, and this is very careful. I was very, very lucky because I was born and learned pathology in excision biopsies starting from 1963 onwards. So there was nothing like needle biopsy. So all the chronic needle biopsies that we see, that's not pathology. That is voodoo pathology, in my opinion. So these detection methods it takes time, energy, and discipline of like a military, and then it becomes very, very easy indeed. The detection methods used to identify these patterns will be continuously emphasized today, and this is what I teach my fellows consistently whenever they are with me. Slide number 2 of the specific methods to accurately detect patterns. Imprinting of images or etching of images in the mind requires that it be seen critically. I've said approximately 100 times using 1x magnification, 2x, 4x, 10x, 20x, 40x, or 100x, high dry or oil immersion, and 60 can be oil also. Now, I want to emphasize to you that I have repeatedly seen that the fellows and young pathologists are very comfortable with the highest magnification, whether it is 100x, high dry, or oil immersion. They are very good at identifying cells at 60x, at 40x, at 20x. And as the guys show them slides at 2x after they have done this and described properly, they start getting nervous. They can't recognize anything at 4x or 2x because they don't look at it, okay? Or they're very scared. So they don't have any imprinted images. So if you don't have any imprinted images, you are stuck at these higher magnifications, if you will. So this is very important because at 1x, you can see a slide that is 1 inch by 1 inch. And if the images are imprinted, even in a complex case, based on the colors and the patterns, you can instantly make a diagnosis within 1 or 2 seconds on an accurate recall. There is an excellent correlation between cell types present within compartments and the colors they possess. This is very true. You know that very well. Each compartment normally contains specific cell types that have specific colors, and therefore these cells can be recognized at low magnification based on their colors. So I look at colors and patterns and the layers and so on and so forth. So colors is very important. We have to start by looking at colors right up front, if you're not doing it, because you will see how useful it can be, especially at low magnification. Presence of an abnormal color in a compartment where it does not normally belong indicates presence of a specific abnormal population. And this is very important thing to keep in mind. Number 3, consequently, at low magnification, based on the colors present within each compartment, different cell types can be recognized or predicted. For example, the best example is the clear cells. The clear cells can be traced at low magnification. They can be detected on the clear clear cell appearance, the moderate to abundant clear cytoplasm, and that is a very easy thing to do once you start doing it at different locations as well as different magnifications. So again, this is quite easy once you would have agreed that you're going to follow this procedure and method. But if you're going to employ, look at a flow cytometry report after 6 hours and when it comes to you, when you have a molecular report that comes to up to 2 or 3 days, and whatever else, and you look at the 20 immunostains, and then you have a lot of people, they really they laugh at what I do, okay? And when they laugh, I consider it as a compliment rather than anything else. It exposes their ignorance. Thus, the migratory pathways of cells are produced by organization of specific cell types in explicit manners. Specific distribution or arrangement of colors also convey major diagnostic information at low magnification. Thus, in every case, colors present and tracing them permits their localization in the compartments, and the patterns that they produce will permit formation of a narrow differential diagnosis. Next, sequential. So what are the other methods? It involves examination of each compartment critically one at a time. So sequential examination of one compartment at a time. If you do this, this is a discipline, like a military discipline. Do one thing at a time. Comparing similar and adjacent compartments to each other allows you to find out which compartment is adjacent compartment is abnormal. Absence, obliteration, proliferation, expansion, fusion, distortion, disintegration, colonization of compartments. These are the words that the pathologists use often, but the young generation doesn't like to use these words, okay? They don't have it in their vocabulary. These often coexist, as you very well know. The senior people know this very well. The presence of one or more cell types in a compartment where they are normally absent is a highly abnormal finding. Conversely, absence of cells in a compartment where they should be normally found, and if they are not there, that's an abnormality also. And the last slide pertaining to the specific methods is specific. Now, markedly hyper or hypocellular areas within compartments, focally or multifocally or throughout, are very valuable to look at them, especially the hypercellular areas. Most pathologic processes form patterns, and they can be spherical or non-spherical structures, and that initiates a differential diagnosis. So you have to recognize them accurately. Very important, recognition of spherical structures is markedly enhanced by creating contrast. This is so important that 99% of pathologists don't follow. So what is it? Recognition of spherical structures is markedly enhanced by creating contrast. And how do you create contrast on your microscope? That is achieved by slowly decreasing the intensity of light passing through the condenser. So you have to do this very gradually, and then you will see it has markedly increased the contrast, and that will help you to pick up subtle pathologic processes. And the best example would be the proliferation centers, which are often very few and very subtle. Also, modulating the intensity of light helps further in narrowing the differential diagnosis or in identifying the spherical structures. Recognizing patterns that lack a normal counterpart. For example, proliferation centers don't occur in a normal lymph node. And that's a very good example when they form. That's malignant, that's not benign. So I finished the 5 heavy text slides, and now I'm going to go with presentation and correlation of different patterns with cytologic features, immunostains, diagnosis, and then some more thereafter. Presentation and correlation of different patterns with cytologic features, then immunostains after that, and then diagnosis. So here are the same things that I am showing to you. I have listed 5 to 12 to fibrous patterns. You may have other patterns in your own mind, and there are 9 other patterns, non-spherical structures. And again, relatively careful estimation, it is again estimation of these patterns, eyeballing permits formation of a rather narrow and a specific differential diagnosis. And this is also very useful when I ask my fellows often, tell me what is the surface area occupied by the nodal compartments, and often they say something that adds up to 70%. So I said, what is the remaining 30%? Then they immediately realize they have missed something and they go back after feeling embarrassed. And I like to embarrass them whenever they do that, and then they become very good. The first 6 months they hate me, they don't want to talk to me, but then they become my friends, okay? Because they finally feel that they have learned something. So lymph node compartments must add up collectively to 100% of the surface area. Such accounting enables detection of small focal, multifocal abnormalities and focal or in situ lymphomas. And therein lie the keys, because you start with in situ or follicular neoplasias, and they occupy often less than 1% of the surface area of the sections. And the combination of these abnormalities, it's in these compartments, is expressed as patterns. Now, what are the methodical approach for identifying spherical structures? Now, if you look at a ball-like structure, what are the layers of the spherical layers of compartment? Is it 1 layer, 2 layer, or 3 layer ball-like structures? What is the arrangement of these spherical structures? Normal or inverse, or intermingling of cells or layers? Which layer is or compartment is expanding? The follicular center compartment, the mantle cell compartment, marginal zone, or interfollicular area. And if the lymph node happens to be very large, 5 centimeters, multiple compartments can be proliferating. Presence of cytologic features in each layer or compartment is very important, whether they are centrocytes or centroblasts, mantle cells, marginal zone cells, small lymphocytes, prolymphocytes, plasma cells, transform cells, blastic cells, follicular dendritic cells, and even a mixture of many of these cell types. Immunostaining findings in each layer is very important, and each layer means, if you have multiple patterns or multiple layers, then they change. So you cannot afford to be ignorant and not know where you're looking at the immunostains. If you're praying that every case is going to be a diffuse large B-cell lymphoma and that you are not going to, patterns are not important, you'll start making many wrong diagnoses. Then you have fish, clonality, rearrangement, trisomies, translocations, next-gen sequencing, so on and so forth. So here again, 1 layer ball-like structures, 2 layer ball-like structures, normal arrangement of colors at low magnification. So remember, this is low magnification colors, and again, low magnification colors. And this is the marginal zone 3 layer ball-like structures, which were first reported in the early 60s in the normal spleen. So here is the follicular lymphoma that I showed you before. Here are the 2 layer ball-like structures in a large lymph node. The normal arrangement of colors, mantle cell nodules, here were 1 layer ball-like structures as highlighted by the yellow arrow. And then again, this is the same picture to show to you that marginal zone pattern. Look at the colors in each compartment. They are almost similar or identical. The mantle cells always have a dark blue color that you can see very well. And look at the marginal zone B cells. Instead of a clear color, it has slightly pinkish color. And indeed, this case had plasmacytic differentiation. And here is in these ball-like structures, the germinal center is gone, it's disappeared. And you have a mantle cell layer surrounded by a marginal zone layer. And here are the interfollicular area, so inverse follicular pattern, they coexist with each other. Now, this is another case of a mantle cell lymphoma where this is a large lymph node. Look at the very thick mantle zones. They are proliferating. There are large mantle cell nodules. So this happened to be a mantle cell lymphoma. It was confirmed. And then you have an inverse follicular pattern where there are hardly any of 3 or more marginal zone pattern areas. Mostly are in an inverse follicular. The dark blue color of the mantle cells is very readily seen. IgD stain is a fantastic stain to pick up mantle cells. I do it very, very frequently when I have any doubt whether there are CD20 positive mantle cells. And of course, a CD3 will help you very much. And this is an inverse follicular pattern. Again, this was a marginal zone lymphoma. Small lymphocytic lymphoma, here are these many large, very pale staining spherical ball-like structures. They are pale staining because the cells are really loosely packed together. And because they have spaces separating them, it allows light to pass through the condenser, through the clear spaces. And here I'm showing an obvious example, okay? But often they are one or two or three. And I'll tell you, this turning the light down, creating contrast is fabulously valuable, not only picking up proliferation centers, but even much more. So here it is a beautiful case of a proliferation centers. They are loosely packed together. Look at the spaces separating the cells. So the light passing through the conductor passes through these areas, so they appear very pale staining. So you have prolymphocytes and paraimmunoblasts, whatever term you want to use for it. And here is a vessel here. So this is exquisite cytology of prolymphocytes and paraimmunoblasts. I'm going to show you a very nice case of a 1-layer, 2-layer, and 3-layer spherical structures formed by a follicular colonization. A nice case of angioimmunoblastic T-cell lymphoma. We had published in Cancer in 1978 about 80 or 100 cases. That time there were no immunostains. Now we know there are many of them are intrafollicular T-cell lymphomas and the TF follicular helper cell phenotype. So here is a lymph node. Many of my pictures, I would say 99% are taken with analog pictures, professional quality Kodak film. And there is nothing like Kodak film as of still today. So these were the analog pictures that were digitized. And then I'm showing it to you here to show to you how the original slides were. So here there is a ball-like structure, a mantle cell layer that is blue, partial, and there is a pale staining ring here. And then when you go here, there is a follicular center, mantle zone that is interrupted, and you can see the clear cells infiltrating. That's colonizing right there. So when you look at the edges and the periphery of the germinal centers, that's where often the diagnostic clues are to look right there. Look here. See the colonization occurring. See the clear cells. So if you just look at the clear cells, where they are and what they are doing, you immediately see that there is extensive follicular colonization to a small amount or to a very large amount, where there is massive colonization here, and all that you see is a 3rd layer, and they happen to be T follicular helper cells here. So there is a 1-layer, 2-layer, 3-like ball-like structures. And when you see, what do you see here in between now? So when you do one thing at a time, you will never make a mistake. But if you're overwhelmed and your mind goes here, there, everywhere, and then you have to run for a coffee to save you, that's not going to save you. You got to see the color here. This is the purple color of marked plasmacytosis. It happened to be kappa and lambda. And this was a case that going back to 1978, where we were doing a kappa and a lambda stain and lysozyme at the City of Hope Medical Center. And we were also doing a few other stains and flow cytometry. And we had a very big paper published in 1982 about flow cytometry. So here it is, careful review of patterns, formulating a differential diagnosis, ordering targeted immunostains. But without a different diagnosis, you do 20 immunostains, you are going to get into real trouble before you know what happened to you. Look at it here. Germinal center, different color, mantle zone here, very badly interrupted. The clear cells are growing here, as you can see extensively, they are going in. Here, clear cells. Clear cells that mix with the purple color of plasma cells. Remember, sometimes they can be monotypic. So kappa and lambda by immunohistochemistry by ISH is very valuable here. So again, look at the clear color here. It is fabulous to see how it is at edges of the mantle zone. Or if the mantle zone is gone, it's wiped out, then you will see it's going into the germinal centers. Here again, at a little higher magnification, look at the clear cells. They are chewing up the periphery of the germinal center, and they are breaking it up here. So tremendous extensive follicular colonization. The mantle cells is right here. So if you would have done an IGD, you would have seen that it is markedly disrupted and absent in many areas, and the clear cells will show you that they are CD3 positive and not CD20 positive. Here again in the center, you have abnormal plasma cells, you can see. There are globules there, and they were polytypic. And look at the clear cells here. So a good H&E slide, well fixed, cut and stained, There is nothing like it, okay? It will save your life, okay? Here are the clear cells. They are numerous and of varying sizes, small, medium, and large, and many have multiple nucleoli that you can see. Next. So now, the paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia is a spherical structure with intermingling of cells and layers, and it is next to the germinal centers of follicles. So it is paracortical next to the cortex. And it is commonly seen in dermatopathic lymphadenitis. When you say Langerhans and interdigiting cells and histiocytes with melanin pigment, in absence of that, it is non-specific and it occurs very commonly with progressively transformed germinal centers, as well as the paracortical nodular T-zone. So you can have progressively transformed germinal centers where the mantle zones infiltrate the germinal centers and and lead to physiologic regression of the hyperplastic germinal center. So follicular regression is exceedingly common. You should know how to recognize it, not only in the H&E slides, and of course there are immunostains to help you. This is very common with Hodgkin's lymphoma or without Hodgkin's lymphoma. So without Hodgkin's lymphoma, you will see this now and then very frequently. And then you have the lymphocytic and histiocytic nodules described by Lukes and Butler in 1963. And then the WHO in 1978, the first, no, 1978, I believe. No, later than that, they use the word LP, lymphocyte predominant cells. Now I'm going to show you a case where there is intermingling of the structures and cells. So and there is a paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia. So do one thing at a time. So if you look at the capsule right there, look at the capsule, don't do anything else. Now if you see beneath the capsule here, follicle, stay at the follicle, don't do anything else. Don't deviate, just stay at the follicles. That way you not miss your follicles. So there are about 10 or 11 follicles. Some have a starry sky pattern. They are well defined and they have a mantle zone surrounding them. So then the question is, what is the hell all of this going on here? All the other stuff is paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia. And you have the cytologic features of paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia, Langerhans cells and intergenerating cells. Here at higher magnification, look at the color of the Langerhans cells and intergenerating cells, and look at the grooves and the striations. If you see a histiocyte here, and if you see melanin pigment, then that's dermatopathic lymphadenitis. In absence of dermatopathic lymphadenitis, you will see this very often. So again, there are some plasma cells that mix here that you can see. Now, lymphocyte predominant cell that we see in WHO, nodules in Hodgkin's lymphoma and lymphocyte predominant. So examine is an example of spherical structures with intermingling of cells and layers. Now, this was another picture that I had taken in 1978 with an analog film at the City of Hope. So we are here at City of Hope. We used to get 5 and 10 new cases of excision biopsies with beautifully cut and stained H&E slides. Then you are in 7th heaven when you have wonderful material. So look at this pattern here. Large ball-like structures with a moth-eaten pattern, a dark blue color, and these are mantle cells, and then you have a lighter color. So what is the lighter color composed of? They can be popcorn cells, or they can be histiocytes, and very commonly epithelioid cells also. So I'm going to show you now 2-3 additional pictures in higher magnifications, but this is a back-to-back arrangement of a typical case of nodular lymphocyte predominant Hodgkin's lymphoma, of having a moth-eaten pattern, which is very characteristic and very easy to see. So here, this is a high magnification. Look at the cytologic features of this one area that you see here. Look at the 3 ball-like structure here, the red arrows, popcorn cell, or the LP cell, or the LNH variant of the Stemberg cell. And I showed this picture for 10, 12, 15 years, and I was very happy. But then I suddenly realized, my God, what is this here? What is this here? Well, this here. So, I'm giving many confessions. It took me 15 years to finally realize, come on, besides this, I got to show this one. What are the cells of medium and large sizes, multiple nucleoli? They are T cells, they have T follicular helper cells, and they can be numerous, okay? So keep in mind that TFFH cells are a medium or large size, and they are multiple. And here is another popcorn cell. And here there are these cells. So IgD and a CD3 stain picks up the small cells for you very well. Next is a fibrous nodular pattern, completely typical of nodular sclerosis. It can be focal, multifocal throughout, but it is not specific at all. It can be seen in other diseases. Here was another typical example of nodular sclerosis in Hodgkin's. Very thick band, capsule, fibrocollagenous bands. And then again, you have here darkly staining. They are either T cells or mantle cells or both components. And in the lighter staining areas, you go down at higher magnification. And the lighter color tells you that there are many larger cells, okay? So correlating colors with the cells is very valuable because it tells you where to go down. So the IgD or a CD3 will tell you if you want to, but I go down to straight to these areas because once this is imprinted in the mind, you know that the meat or the diagnosis is right here in these areas here. Again, these are mummified cells or degenerated multinucleated cells. And look at the multinucleated cells here, They are eosinophils here. And there are these abnormal cells here that you can see. And you can see darkly staining small lymphocytes. So I finished these ball-like structures. Now there are these other patterns that I'm going to go. There's a nice case of a large B-cell lymphoma, anaplastic features. Again, an analog picture. I use analog pictures till Kodak stopped making analog film and stopped processing. So that day I started crying a lot, okay, that I lost my analog film, which is very easy to use, and you can have fabulous pictures. So here, look at these humongous cells. See how many small lymphocytes can fit into this multinucleated cells, and how many would fit into the cytoplasm. So humongous, for 50, 60, 70 cells can fix. So these cells are very numerous, as you can see, of different sizes and shapes, ugly looking, they scare the hell out of you. Here is the capsule here. So here they are in the pericapsular sinus. And here in the pericapsular area, do you see the purple color of the plasma cells here? Numerous plasma cells here and small lymphocytes. So you look at the cell, the subcapsular sinus is dilated. It is coming down the trabecular sinus here. It is coming down the trabecular sinus here. Here it is. We started in these areas. We came down the trabecular sinus, as you can see here. Again, you can see here the trabecular sinus coming down here. So this is a sinus pattern, and it's a very simple example of looking at follicles, the mantle zones, and the sinuses, okay? So all compartments have to be reviewed, but once you have imprinted images in your mind, then you are working very, very fast, okay? Here, interfollicular pattern expansion of interfollicular areas. Here was an example of a myeloid sarcoma. This was a case that I got again maybe 20, 25 years ago. There is pericapsular infiltration here. So one thing at a time. Normal follicle, normal follicle, normal follicle with thick mantle zone. Normal follicles with the large germinal centers and thick mantle zones, okay? So I finished looking at the ball-like structures of the two layers. Then I'm only looking at the mantle cell nodules. Then there are mantle cell nodules. So after that, once you have done that and go only look for that, then you can go to the next feature, because there is so much here that you get distracted, massively distracted, okay? Don't distract yourself. Don't distract yourself, okay? That's a mantra you should have. Do one thing at a time. And then what do I have here? This is paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia with mottling. Again, it's the pattern here of mottled pattern of the paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia 2 years here. And then what do I have here in the interfollicular areas? This is a color in a compartment which normally should never be present in the interfollicular areas. It is a purplish color. It is a very prominent starry sky pattern with this purple color. Again, the starry sky pattern here. This is in the interfollicular areas. This is a highly abnormal color. It's very hypercellular process. So this has to be a lymphoma. But the red herring was the reactive follicles, the mantle cell nodules, the paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasias, and they are the predominating finding. But again, you have a starry sky pattern, and I'm sure you'll get to it, but do one thing at a time. So when you concentrate on this one, you will say, oh my God, That's a high-grade lymphoma or a malignancy of some sort there. Here is the paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia, where you can see the Langerhans cells and interdigitating cells. Here are the purple cells. And then you have in those areas, the purple cells, look at the large cells. They are highly malignant. Look at the variation in their size and shape, number of nucleoli, location of the nucleoli. And here is a lysozyme stain. Look at the lysozyme stain. Here is the myeloid sarcoma in the intrafollicular areas. It has left everything intact here, all the other compartments that you see. So when there was a metastasis of the myeloid sarcoma, 1 or 2 or 5 cells came in. Then they slowly started multiplying gradually, and then they come out also. So remember, processes that start at a very early age, it is focal or multifocal. So that's what you want to pick up, and that's what you will pick up if you know your patterns, architectural features, and how to use immunostains and what to do. Because you can't do 20, 25 immunostains and hope they will bail you out. See, look at the myeloperoxidase, very good. Classic Hodgkin's lymphoma, mixed cell type, Lennett's pattern. This was first described by Dr. Lennett in 1973 or 74, where clusters of epithelioid cells are predominating. That's the picture. You think this is a granuloma and nothing else. There are dark blue colors of mantle cells, if you will. But then after that, if you know, look at the large cells only. Look at the large cells. There are plenty of large cells here. And because in Hodgkin's lymphoma, the malignant cells are often 1 or 2% or even less, you will miss them. You will think, this is a granuloma, nothing burger, and you'll move on, and then that will come to bite you, okay? So here are these cells, Hodgkin's cells. Look at that. Humongous. See how many nuclei are there. Look at the amount of cytoplasm. Striking, okay? So if you go one compartment at a time, you will pick up all the pathologic processes. In absence of that, you will be confident of what you do, but you don't know what you're doing then. Now here is a mottling pattern, dermatopathic and lymphadenitis, and together. Here are lymphocytes darkly staining, and these are the transformed cells. They have multiple nucleoli in between the small cells. So these are the transformed lymphoid cells of medium and large size, for where I use the word transformed cells. And the background cells is small lymphocytes. So here is a follicle, the mantle zone, and here is this area here, which has the starry sky appearance, and these are Langerhans cells and interdigitating cells. Look at the amount of cytoplasm. And I'll show you the immunostains here. And they are adjacent to the follicles. That's why the word paracortical is used. So here are the follicles with the mantle zones. Here there is a mantle cell nodule, follicles with the mantle zone thick. Then there is this follicles, and here is the paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia. And remember, I also showed you that the large lymphoid cells are mixed. So both components are mixed. So here it is. CD20 picks up the follicles, the mantle cell nodules, the other follicles, but leaves the paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia intact. So here is the CD20, a little higher magnification, showing you the thick mantle zones and the mantle cells present, and it leaves behind the paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia, which has full of T cells, as you can see here. So these are the T cells in paracortical nodular hyperplasia, because the interfollicular areas is rich in T cells. So that's why the word paracortical nodular T-zone hyperplasia is used. So if you know how to look at these slides, then you know you don't need to do many stains, and you'll be very confident because the immunostains will be predictable in terms of what's going to get. Diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, look at the centroblasts here with the nuclei located on the nuclear membrane. And when Dr. Lukes used the word small cleaved, large cleaved, small non-cleaved, and large non-cleaved, when he looked at these cells in the nuclear membranes, he used to talk about in 73, 74, 5, he called these cells with 2 nucleoli as a snake bite, okay? Because when a snake bites you, you have 2 on you, it appears like this. This is a diffuse pattern, very monotonous. I have no interest in diffuse large B-cell lymphoma because, you can start yawning when you see this because it's very easy. And there will be about 30%, 20% in your practice, and many of them can be very treacherous because they can be infected and many other things can happen. Starry sky pattern in non-follicular areas. So this is the typical appearance of a Burkitt's lymphoma. Look at the exquisite cytology of wonderful multiple nucleoli that you are seeing here. They are very, very monotonous in their chromatin structure, the size of medium and large, and the prominence of nucleoli. And they have a starry sky pattern. So this color, if you get used to this color, then you can know 9 times out of 10, this is not of a diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, but of a Burkitt or a non-Burkitt lymphoma. And here is a starry sky pattern. Look at it. This is at about 4x or 2x. I don't have a picture about 1x. So having said that here, I finished these patterns here again. So you got to know your patterns. And I will show you the last case, which is a very interesting case, and then I will stop. So it's a case with multiple patterns. So I'll give you diagnosis after H&E, then I'll give you diagnosis after clinical information, diagnosis after immunostains, and diagnosis after molecular studies. So this case, one at total have 21 slides. From block 1, I have 2 H&E slides I will show you, and then I'll give you a diagnosis. Then from block 2, there were 8 H&E slides, which I'll show you, and I'll give you a revised diagnosis. Then I'll give you a diagnosis after the 10 immunostains I have, and then after that, I will integrate a final diagnosis after what else I had done. So here was a lymph node that came in, again, when I was at USC in early 90s, capsule of the lymph node here. And what do you see? You see reactive follicle, mantle cell nodule, wall-like structure, 3-layer, follicle mantle and a marginal zone. Even if you look here, follicle center, mantle zone, and look at this color here. This is not the color of benign T cells. This is in a marginal zone pattern, marginal zone pattern, marginal zone pattern, inverse follicular pattern, no germinal centers. Inverse follicular pattern, marginal zone pattern, marginal zone pattern. So there is an inverse follicular pattern and marginal zone pattern coexisting. And look at the color of the cells here. Now I said, oh my God, these are very hypercellular. This color suggests that there are medium and large cells and probably plasmacytoid. And there is also kind of a starry sky pattern here, indicating that probably there is high proliferative activity and there are starry sky histiocytes there that mix. So this is a cytology in the interfollicular areas. And when you go down, you start looking at these cells. The closer you go, the more trouble you are going to get, okay? Because you will be seduced by these fantastic cytology of these cells, which are medium to large size, have multiple prominent nucleoli, and they have some of them have a little eosinophilic cytoplasm, and it's a very hypercellular process, and there are small lymphocytes here for comparison. So when I looked at this slide, I said the diagnosis after a review of the patterns and cytologic features. In the first 2 slides was a large cell lymphoma present in interfollicular areas, resulting in interfollicular pattern. In addition, it is also surrounds benign follicular areas and produces a marginal zone and inverse follicular pattern. So after this diagnosis, I had a block number 2, in which I did 8 H&E stains. So when I look at this one block here, there is a capsule here. So go from capsule to the subcapsular sinuses. Then you go to the follicles in a systematic way, one compartment at a time. God created the architecture for you in all organs, okay? Take advantage of that, okay? So here it is. There is a red arrow here showing you there is a marginal zone pattern, small germinal center, mantle zones. And look at this color here. They're of clear cells, okay? They're pale staining. And in fact, after that, I see purple color here. And that's just to me plasmacytic differentiation. So here I have a marginal zone pattern with what looks like plasmacytic differentiation. Here are clear cells. I don't think so. There is a germinal center there. So there are mantle cell nodules, no germinal center. But again, there is an inverse follicular pattern. Again, the same clear cell population that is there, or partly clear. And then again, you immediately see the color of plasma cells. So if you start looking at the color of plasma cells from high magnification to successive lower magnifications, You will become very good after 2 or 3 or 4 months, okay, if you believe in looking at colors. So I have given this talk at many places and many people laugh at me, okay. Oh my God, can you think Dr. Nathwani is showing colors and patterns? So as soon as I hear that, I'm very happy, okay. So here marginal zone pattern, inverse follicular pattern side by side here. So here is a marginal zone pattern, inverse follicular pattern, and I'm going to show you the clear cell appearance here and here, okay. Even when you look here, you see this is getting chewed up here, the periphery of the mantle zones. And look at it, the follicular center, there is a germinal center, and the mantle cells, yeah, see the chewing up is started here. It is not a sharp mantle zone. The clear cells have started growing in. And here are the clear cells here, a lot of abundant cytoplasm. And then you can see, if you see here, look at the color here, that's the color of plasma cells here. So I got to look at the immunostains in all of the 4 compartments. So I'm looking at the bottom of this follicle here. Look at this. Look at the clear cells here. And they are going in. They are going in. It's colonization, follicular colonization. And here are the clear cells that you see here. And you can see these medium and large size cells at this magnification that you saw in the very first H&E slide that I showed you. And then when I go down here, I see a purple color. Of course, you are most welcome to, and you should go at high magnification. So I'm not saying it is, you learn everything at high magnification, but you diagnose everything at successive lower magnifications as you get more and more experience. So an expert in an area, any subspecialty, you see they are doing the same thing, colors and patterns and architectural features, and they were imprinted images in their mind. So I'm going to show you high magnification. Look at it. This was the germinal center. There is these cells here, a medium and large cells with 1 to multiple nucleoli. There are plenty of cells with clear cytoplasm here. Look at this. This is what is there in the very second slide that I showed you at higher magnification. Same cells here at a lower magnification. This must be 10x or even 10x. Yes, look at it. Look at the clear cells here. So these are the same cells that we saw in the very first slide. The large cells here are medium-sized cells with multiple nucleoli. That you can see here. And there are clear cells also. But remember, the large cells, because they are 3 to 4 times the size of the small lymphocytes, they attract you, they seduce you. So you are not looking at the smaller cells or the other cells present there. We are not talking of the surface area occupied by the large cells, which is tremendous more. But then if you look at the smaller cells and the plasma cells that you see here, look at the plasmacytoid form here. Look at the plasmacytoid form here. Look at the plasmacytoid form here. There is a half there, okay? There is a eosinophilic cytoplasm. So here it is clear cells, and look at the plasma cells. That's a purple color. Very easy. So if you look at colors and compartments and 1 layer, 2 layer colonization, you will start becoming very, very confident. And this especially applies to the young people and who are just started there so as a staff member. So this is what, look at the plasma cells. So obviously, the issue was, is this again a marginal zone B cell lymphoma with plasmacytic differentiation and transformation? So here was after these 8 H&E slides, based on the diagnosis of architecture and cytology, marginal zone pattern, inverse follicular pattern, interfollicular patterns due to large cells based on colors. And then I thought there is also a marginal zone lymphoma with plasmacytic differentiation. Now I looked at the clinical history. And what is a revised diagnosis? It's a 5-year-old boy, completely asymptomatic, exceedingly healthy. And the parents told me that he's playing every day for several hours with bilateral slowing growing masses over a period of 3 to 4 years. So ultimately, the patient's parents thought that he needed attention and to get a biopsy, okay? So after I read this, I said, my God, this cannot be a malignant process. So I said, this is most unlikely marginal zone unlikely marginal zone lymphoma with plasmacytic differentiation and transformation to a large cell lymphoma. Most likely benign proliferation, I ordered immunostains, which I'll show you, and then I'll revise my diagnosis. So our diagnosis after review of both in H&E slide, it was this, but not after the clinical history. So here is a CD20 stain. So I have a CD20 stain here, follicles positive, mantle cells positive. Look at the ring here. The ring is marginal zone is completely negative. Look at all the rings of the pale staining cells are completely CD20 negative. So then the light in your brain immediately says, okay, what is a CD3? So it is a CD3 positive cells producing the marginal zone pattern. Very clear cut. When you look at the same areas, so I take pictures in the same areas, which are the best areas for photography and teaching purposes, okay? And then when I looked at the here on this side, this was a CD4 stain. Look at this T cells are CD4 negative, 4 negative, 4 negative, 4 negative. I look at the 8 and they're negative with CD8, so double negative with CD4 and CD8. And this young boy, 5 years old, who is having a great time playing around and who didn't want to go to the school. So here it is. So there is a T cell producing the marginal zone pattern, and they are CD4 and double negative is CD8. Then you look at the Ki6710, all of these cells are proliferating. These large cells and the medium cell size are called proliferative. Look at the Ki67 here, the same medium and large cells, they are proliferating. So that can scare the hell out of you. BCL2 stains, strongly positive. Long living cells, here it is, look at it, cytoplasmic positivity. So they are Ki67 proliferating, they are long living cells. They are granzyme B positive, look at it at low magnification. They are TIA1 positive, moderate numbers. And the kappa and the lambda stain shows they are negative. But look at the plasma cells here that we were. Both were positive both kappa and lambda, and they were polytypic. So they were benign. So most unlikely peripheral T cell lymphoma due to double negative CD4 and CD8 positive cells. Most probably benign, including plasma cells. The T cell receptor was negative, and then that told me, yes, this is a benign process. So what is the integrated final diagnosis is that in this case that I showed you the first H&E slides, multiple patterns. Clinical history was most valuable. The absence of T cell rearrangements provided further diagnostic evidence. And the phenotype of double negative with CD4 and CD8, this is autoimmune lymphoproliferative syndrome, which is a rare disease. There are many, many papers published on it. And let me share with you one last slide about the dysfunction of the normal apoptotic pathway in activated T cells, which cause ALPS. So you have this FAS APIC CD95. This is the gene here. And there is a FAS ligand. They meet together, they form a complex, they activate the caspase. So if there is a arrest here, it is ALPS. So this is their type of ALPS present here. ALPS with FAS, ALPS with FASLG abnormality. So it triggers apoptosis and cell death, and it prevents accumulation of activated T cells. Mutations in the above pathway of any of this normal pathway will give you ALPS. Thank you. Anybody there? Or everybody is gone?
We are all here, Bharat. Thank you. Thank you for this great presentation.
Dr. Nathwani, that was simply a fantastic presentation. And what can I say? This is like a treat for all of us, including the younger junior members in the audience. And just to summarize, I was just looking at the chat box, and just to give you an idea, because you were so engrossed in giving your lecture, probably you'll get a feedback later, but I cannot contain my excitement in just summarizing some of the comments that came from all the wonderful people who are listening to your lecture. I'll start off by mentioning Anita Borges' comment from Bombay. She says, Vintage Bharat. Then I have a comment from Deepak Mishra from Kolkata, who says Swabhiman Bharat. And then I have a comment from Zim Zai, who says amazing thinking approach. And then Vijaya Reddy from Chicago, she says, it's such a refreshing talk in the era of complex and intimidating practice of Hempath today. And Ajit Nambiar from Calicut, he says he was mesmerized by a talk in 1999, and 22 years later, he's listening to you again with the same kind of enthusiasm. And lastly, but not the least, and this is just a few comments that I could grab from the chat box. Leilani Valdez, your own resident, is just made so many comments about you driving home the point of H&E and morphology to her when she was your resident. So thank you so much for this wonderful lecture. As a token of appreciation, Dr. Nathwani, Aipna has this for you. Let me see if I can go a little better than this. Yeah. And we have a plaque. It's a token of our appreciation. And the plaque reads as, Aipna felicitates our keynote speaker, Bharat Nathwani, for his talk at the annual GBM, March 14. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure. Hello to my friends, old friends.
There were a couple of questions from the audience, Dr. Prasad, to Dr. Nathwani. The first question was from Dr. Harsh Batra. You wanted to know how do we differentiate from RVFL, reverse variant of follicular lymphoma?
Say it again, I didn't get it.
How do we differentiate from reverse variant of follicular lymphoma? That was one of the questions from Dr. Harsh Batra.
Yes, when the follicular lymphoma cells migrate outside and they go in the mantle zone or outside the mantle zone, or mantle zone is absent, often in the follicular lymphoma, typical one, they differentiate into marginal zone B cells. So then what you have is in the second outer layer, the clear cells, which are would look like marginal zone B cells, are CD10 and BCL6 positive. So I know that's a follicular lymphoma in which you have the appearance of a clear cells, and it has produced the inverse follicular pattern, but that's not a true inverse follicular pattern because they are really follicular center cells. They are positive with CD10 and BCL6 and BCL2, and they are negative with the other markers.
Great, thank you, thank you. And there's one more question. This is from Dr. Sudha Rao. She's asking, who handles CNS lymphomas at your institution? If you do, how do you handle specimens from patients who have already had some treatment before biopsy?
Say it again, please, if you don't mind.
Yes. So from Dr. Sudha Rao, who handles CNS lymphomas at your institution? And how do you handle specimens from patients who have already had treatment, some kind of treatment before getting biopsied?
Well, you know, CNS lymphomas are not common, as you very well know. Overall, I rarely get CNS lymphomas, but I apply the same criteria I can. And if I have any questions, I take it to a neuropathologist, or I send it out to somebody else to make an accurate diagnosis. I have no problems showing it to my associates if they can be valuable. And of course, I send it to consultants outside regularly.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Nathwani. I think those are the two questions I'm seeing in the chat box. If anybody has any comments to make, I think we have 5 more minutes before the next event. So if anybody has any comments, please feel free.
I have one question for Dr. Nathwani. you know, you are the director of your consultation practice, and I'm sure you're seeing all kinds of crazy types of biopsies, needle core biopsies, and biopsies which excuse me, yeah, which don't have the typical color, and you know the compartments can be discerned on these needle core biopsies. How do you handle them? Because
the needle core biopsy is a sliver of a lymph node. So if you know I see all the time, morning, afternoon, and evening, needle biopsies, okay? So I apply the same principles. So the same architecture and cytologic features and immunophenotype they have. So I'm able to do it, but then, you know, I always worry, what is there that is left behind in the patient? They have a 3, 5, 7, 10 centimeter mass, and they do 2, 3 needle core biopsies, thinking that everything that's left behind in the patient is same. That's BS, as all of you know, okay? I mean, the question is, what is the rest of the lymph node having?
Yeah.
But you know, I'm an old man. I'm 76 now. I can afford to retire anytime. As you see, I have the most gray hair, and there were a couple of other guys in the crowd who are gray hairs. So all that I can say is this is not needle biopsy, is not pathology. It's not pathology. It is voodoo pathology, okay? Voodoo pathology. And when I say that, I make more enemies, okay? And that makes me even more happy. And I've got a lot of friends here, old friends who know me. Ashraf Khan is there. There are so many other people. Jagmohan, Sidhu is there. There are so many others there. So many others, okay? Ashraf, how are you?
I'm good, Bharat. It was a very refreshing talk, and Anil went through a lot of those remarks. I echo all the sentiments, and I think some of those experienced pathologists were saying they want to be residents again and train under you to learn all those morphology. I think this is an era that we are going at the, moving away from morphology, and you're trying to bring us back, which is great, very refreshing.
But we are making histological diagnosis with the immunostains if necessary. You can do upfront, without looking at the H&E slide, all the tests that I mentioned to you. Flow cytometry comes to you in 6 hours, the results, okay? So you start already thinking about a differential diagnosis. Then your immunostains come in the next day, and you ordered the molecular stuff. So that's a $20,000 bill. We are going bankrupt, if you don't know, by the way, United States. Besides the COVID, that $2 billion, now the healthcare bill is going to kill us, okay, cost. So all those who are watching me and are doing all of these tests, they are quite unhappy. I can see that. I know that. Now, the last thing I want to say is, if any resident or a fellow wants to come and to learn freely, relearn from me, well, I'm going to charge them money.
Yeah. No, this is precious wisdom. Definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Hello, Bharat. This is Jagmohan.
Yes, my dear friend. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, I would love to talk to you in the next few days.
Yeah, it was a very nice talk. Now, you did not mention floral variant, and I know in the previous lectures, you never mentioned floral variant of follicular lymphoma. Is it the same thing as reverse variant?
Say it again.
Floral variant of follicular
floral
lymphoma.
variant. Oh, yes. Some of the floral variants could very well be pediatric follicular lymphomas.
Okay. Or pediatric type in adult.
Yeah, pediatric type in the adults, okay.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Well, if there are no other questions.
Bharat, can I say something, Bharat?
Oh, my
This
dear
is Anita from India. Yes.
Yes, well, can we meet?
Well, I don't know. You get rid of the COVID and then we will meet, Bharat.
Yes. I'm thinking about some meetings.
I don't know if you're fully vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated.
Yes,
So,
same here. So I'll send
oh, very good.
I will send you some emails of the meetings that I'm thinking of attending.
Oh, very good, Bharat. Anyway, what I wanted to tell you, Bharat, is that this is the third time I've heard you speak on the same subject, and each time I just marvel at the thought that has gone behind all this. I know you talk just about imprinting, but I don't think that morphology and looking at things again and again and again without thought, without analysis, is actually going to work. So yes, residents must look at slides, look at them carefully. They can look at them again and again, but unless there is an analysis behind what they are doing, it's going to be all for naught. And that's what I keep telling my residents. I suppose the same way as you tell yours, that without morphology, we are nothing. So, but I think intelligence and analysis is required, not just looking at things again and again, because like you said, what the mind does not know, the eye will not see. So it's the same thing for the eye. For the mind to know, the eye must first see. And so it's a very interactive sort of experience. You see again and again and again, but the mind has to be involved in this whole thing. I'm sure you agree with me, Bharat.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So when you look at an H&E slide, it should be with enthusiasm. Now when there is a 10 H&E slides, you should see the residents and the fellows and the junior people. They start running to the men's and the ladies' room.
All right. Thank you for that wonderful session, Bharat, and all the comments and questionnaires. I'm going to go home with one message that you gave. And that is, just like Don Karcher has mentioned in the comment chat box, I'm going to tell my surgeon right off the bat, if he gives me a needle, don't practice voodoo medicine.
Yes, absolutely. You should tell the surgeon, what has he left behind? What has he left behind, okay? And you and I both know it meant what he saw in the needle biopsy or what we see, it may not be the true diagnosis at all.
Right.
There may be progression, transformation, all kinds of things can happen.
Yes.
So this is, the pairs, are deciding what procedure we can do and what procedure we cannot do. So we are in real trouble because we are at their mercy, and they find that the healthcare cost is very expensive because the pathologists have driven it up where they ask everything. And now they are asking few more things, NGS and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the bill will go to $50,000 for biopsy.
That's
okay,
right.
Fortunately, I'll be dead, okay?
All right.
Okay.
No, we want to see you hale and healthy, Bharat.
Okay.
So.
All right, but there'll be no neurons.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll see a man with Alzheimer's disease.
Bharat, I just want to say a word. This is a word from a guy who has no hair. You have gray hair, I have no hair.
I salute you.
I enjoyed your talk, and your talk is so valuable to the pathologists in the developing countries who do not have all the facilities that the Westerners have. So can you tailor me, you have been giving this talk all over the world, I know that. And almost 70-80% of your talk was H&E, which is fascinating. And not only just high power views, but low power views, 1x, 2x, 4x. I remember our teacher, Dr. Gadgir, when he got a slide, used to pull out the eyepiece and look at the slide through the eyepiece and scan the whole slide. That was the first step that he took. And that's what you are telling us today, and it is really fascinating to hear you.
That was a real pathology.
All the best to you.
That was a real pathology. They took out the objective and looked the other way, and they looked at the architecture.
Well, thank you, everyone. This session comes to an end. Let's start. Let's go on, move on. Now, the next item in the agenda is handing out some awards on the behalf of Aipna. And let me just pull up this. I hope it is a surprise to the recipient. If I can show, where is it? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Aipna Executive Board, the members and other members of Aipna, we are always looking for trying to encourage people to take up leadership roles and just encourage them to be more involved. And this year, it is my great pleasure to announce the Aipna Junior Member Service Award is going to Bini Khandakar. Bini is a resident, a final year resident, or she's just finishing. She's studying for her boards right now, and she's just accepted a fellowship position at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And she has shown exceptional initiative and has contributed to all kinds of work that we have thrown at her, especially dealing with social media, etc. Out of her own accord, she has come up with a lot of solutions and is a great team player, as the plaque says. So, Bini, if you're there, show yourself. Otherwise, we will move on to the next award.
Thank you so much. This is such a real surprise, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for this. This is a real surprise. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Anil, for including me in the Aipna team, and I really appreciate it. And it has been a great journey for me as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. You're welcome. All right. With that, we'll go on to our next wonderful award, and that is to Dr. Anand Lagu. Anand, I hope it has been a surprise to you. I tried hard, and everyone were beaming with excitement when your name was suggested, and it is a no-brainer for the selection committee to give you this award of outstanding service. You have always been there for Aipna, right from the beginning with the pediatric path fellowship, traveling to Bangalore, inspecting the St. John's program. You've been, helping your own medical college, the BJ Medical College, and doing things of your own accord, even outside Aipna activities. A true teacher, and truly you are passionate about serving and helping others. I can go on, and of course, I don't want to embarrass you with, so many laurels of yours and how you have helped us. But I have to mention this, that, ladies and gentlemen, Anand Lagu has single-handedly, personally contributed to all the award, Best Abstract Award money. That amounts to more than, I think it's about more than $550 or $600, and he did that last year, and he offered to do it this year. So it's just not the money, it's just that sense of commitment and the passion for the well-being of this organization, what we're going to leave for our junior members and the future generations. So Anand, I thank you on behalf of all members of Aipna. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and please accept this award.
I'm speechless. This was truly kept as a big secret. So this is a complete surprise to me. And it's amazing because in this day and age of social media, how you were able to do this. So I think you're showing your leadership skills everywhere. And I humbly accept it. And I'm really happy to contribute to this. It has been a great journey so far with Aipna.
Thank you. I think we are just a tad bit behind in time, but we need to finish this agenda. I was told that, there is a little bit of a leeway we have. So there is some extra time. Anand, I just kept your award the last so that it's a nice segue for you to announce the abstract awards without
Yes.
much wasting of time. So let's just move on to that.
If I can share my screen. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the Best Abstract Award and the competition that we had, and then Claire announced the winners of the awards for this year. So all persons who are currently enrolled in a GME program in pathology in their own country are eligible for this award. Abstracts are accepted at USCAP with pathology trainee as the first author or presenter. Eligible trainees may submit more than one abstract, and in fact, there have been several who have submitted more than one abstract. A panel of 3 pathologists independently reviewed and scored each of these abstracts. And I want to thank the 2 fellow judges who helped me doing this. Monica Roy Chowdhury, who is a medical director of cytopathology, assistant professor at Tufts in Boston. Dr. Nirag Jhala, whom we know very well. He had just come back from India, arranging the very successful CME there. He's the director of AP and cytopathology in Temple, and then myself. So what we did was we received 29 entries by the end of our allotted period, 5 criteria which were declared on the website. We gave independently a score of 1 to 10, and this was done by the 3 judges independently of each other. And then these scores were collated based on their own judgment, and then we picked 6 winners. So there are going to be total of 6 awards, and some of the awardees, they were notified so that they could be here. However, they don't know who has won the first place and the second place. And then there are 4 honorable mention awards. So the first place award is $150, a plaque and a certificate. Second award is $100 and a certificate. And 4 honorable mentions are $75 cash and a certificate for each of them. So to keep the suspense going a little bit, I'm going to start with the honorable mentions first. So the first person to receive, and these 4 honorable mentions are without any grading in that, they are just arranged in reverse alphabetical order. So the first person is Vamasi Parini. She had submitted 3 abstracts, and it was very difficult to say which of those was the best of them. All of them are very heavily involved in state-of-the-art work using NGS and a lot of informatics technology. So she is at Johns Hopkins, and she is one of the 4 winners of the honorable mention. The second person is Pranav, and Pranav has won an honorable mention for his abstract on pathology database risk groups of stratification is equivalent to that obtained by Oncotype DX testing for prostatic adenocarcinoma. So this is carrying out the same kind of message that we were hearing in the main keynote lecture today. And he has shown by going back almost 20 years of retrospective analysis and comparing that to, so again, very applicable to resource poor areas. And that's one of the reasons we chose it. I just, in my short chat with him, I just learned that he's also an alum of BJ Medical College from Pune. But I guarantee you, I did not know that when this award was chosen. But that's a great additional thing. He's at University of Nebraska, and he's here. Pranav, do you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. I really feel very honored and grateful to receive recognition for this work. It would have been wonderful to meet all of you in person, but I look forward to seeing you all in future conferences. And I'm really thankful to all the judges for choosing this abstract.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We would like to see you too in person. The next one is Ibrahim Abukiran. And again, Ibrahim, just like Wamsi, had submitted 3 abstracts, all very excellent work. Again, it is, again, subjective judgment, and we really took the independent evaluation from the 3 judges. And this was novel prognostic quantification of PAX 8 expression and tumor necrosis size, tumor nuclear size by digital image analysis. So he was taking a common problem using digital methods to kind of come up with a very accurate risk stratification for these. And Ibrahim is here. And Ibrahim, you want to say hello to everybody?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Lagu, for this. I'm Ibrahim, and I'm a senior resident at the University of Iowa Hospitals. I'm also going to be the future GI pathology and then molecular pathology. And actually, I'm very delighted and honored to be in this Aipna meeting and know more about Aipna. This is my first meeting, but I'm sure that I will attend all committee meetings in the future conferences too. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for attending and congratulations to you. And then the last honorable mention is Dr. Sakshi. It was a pericardial fluid cytology, and we had 2 cytology experts in our expert panel, an institutional review of cases over 20 years. So the scope of this study really was amazing. And so she has got this award. Dr. Sakshi?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much, Dr. Lagu. Good evening, everyone. I thank Team Aipna for motivating residents, and I truly appreciate the award and recognition. I would also like to congratulate Aipna for wonderful efforts, and I thank my mentors and my teacher because without them, this work would not have been accomplished. I truly enjoyed the meeting and wonderful talk with by Dr. Nathwani. Thank you. Thanks very much.
All right. And now, the time that we have been all waiting for, the second prize goes to Swati Saturwar for her abstract role of hexokinase 1 and LMP1 immunohistochemistry to differentiate oncocytoma and chromophobe renal cell carcinoma from other renal neoplasms. Again, the extent of this study was, oh, she has got the first prize. I'm sorry. This is Swati. Yeah, Swati,
Hello.
you are here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is the scope of the study and the way the experiment was designed, and it was carried out with very excellent controls. Not only were these 2 types of renal tumors looked at, but they had looked at numerous other renal tumors. So they must have really collected various specimens. So congratulations, Swati. And the second prize, here is she. But she's
Hello.
present here. Hello, you can say hello again, Swati.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm not I don't know if you can hear me, but yeah, thank you very much, APNA members, for recognition of our work. It was really very exciting study, and we could discover actually more than 2 markers. So hopefully we can get more out of that project in the future. And I would like to thank you, Dr. Dheer, and everyone else involved in this project. Thank you, everyone. It is a great honor to receive this award today. Thank you.
And the second prize is Charita, and she had done amyloid typing on paraffin embedded tissue using immunohistochemistry. For somebody like me who is a hematopathologist and has to see amyloid specimens, and there is always this question, what type of amyloid, because the treatment will depend on the type of amyloid. So instead of the GCMS, which is an expensive send-out test, this would be really great if it can work with this. Swati, are you here? Okay, you want to say hello?
Thank you so much. Yes, can you see? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I would like to thank Aipna for honoring me this award. I greatly appreciate it. I would also like to thank my attending Dr. Eric Burks and other members involved in the project, without whom this would have not been possible. Thank you so much.
All right, so that concludes. Congratulations to all the winners. Thank you, Aipna, for giving me this opportunity to look at these excellent work. And thanks to Nirag and Monica for taking the trouble and following the instructions to do the independent review under 5 headings. So this was quite a bit of work. And so thank you all, and congratulations and all the best to the winners, and also all the best to all those who submitted, because without them, this competition would not be so exciting. All right, thanks. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Anand. In my excitement, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to show the plaques. So Anand, if you can close.
Yeah, I will stop share.
And let me see if I can do this right again. Let me see. Where is my awards? Hopefully you can see my screen now. Can someone say yes or no?
Not yet, Dr. Prasad.
Sorry?
Not yet.
Okay, what do I have to do?
Press the green button, share screen at the bottom.
Yes. I did that.
And then you click on your PowerPoint.
Can you see it now?
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Full screen, please.
So, I had to do this because there was a lot of work put in by Renuka, especially to get this thing done on the screen. So Bharat, if you are there, can you see your lovely picture and the plaque beside that?
Yes, thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay, and then I have one more. Where do I go? Binny?
Yes, thank you so much.
Look at your pretty picture with the plaque.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. And then lastly, Anand, you look as stern as ever, like a true judge, but this beautiful plaque will be mailed to all of you, all 3 of you. This is just not in ether. Renuka and I will be ordering it, and it will be mailed to you, and also the residents. All those fantastic certificates will be mailed to you. Okay, so please provide your mailing address to Renuka or myself. Thank you. Okay, Monica, one of the stars of our executive committee, executive board. She's the chair of our web development committee, and I request her to present.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you for this opportunity. Let me share my screen and share with you all the journey of Aipna and its web growth, which I have been very delighted to be involved with. It's been an amazing learning journey for me as well. So I will share my short PowerPoint here and share with you the new web face of Aipna. So the idea and planning of the web phase of Aipna started in February 2019. And we started working on a website, which was launched in September 2019. However, this was not the final destination. We continued, and the website still is a continuous, work in progress. But on the site, we continue to expand and on various platforms that we're going to talk about today. So our goal is to make the website the main portal for bilateral communications, networking, and up-to-date resources for Aipna. But alongside the website, we also expanded to a very active Facebook page in 2020, a Twitter in 2020 as well. We expanded to YouTube channel in 2021, Instagram in 2021, and now we are hosting our first ever virtual live Aipna GBM today with all of you. So it's an amazing journey, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of teamwork. I think I've just felt like that I belong to a little family behind the scene. So yeah, it's been incredible. And so the little family that's working behind the scenes here is with the guidance of our president, Anil, we have a web committee, a social media committee, and a GBM virtual event team, which made this event happen. So web committee is composed of multiple members, as you can see. I'm not going to list them all in the interest of time as much as I want to actually talk about each one of them because everyone has contributed in their own very special way. Our web committee is composed of some senior and some junior members to combine the enthusiasm, the action, the wisdom, experience, and all together and make the best out of it. Our second committee is the social media committee, which is run by Raghav and Binny, and you can see the action on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which has been made happen by both of them. And of course, our GBM event team today, the backbone of this team is actually Sisla Ramu, who is our ID expert who has been behind the creation of our website as well. Without him, we are just kind of helpless. And of course, the leadership of Anil, his vision, and the entire team, Renuka, Bini, Raghav, Rifat, Safina, and myself, we have been talking to each other, communicating, brainstorming, and we are so excited to have this event today. So coming back to the website, it's a work in continuous progress, as I just mentioned. We have several things going on in the website. Every day we update certain things. Past events, future events, newsletters, new initiatives, educational information. And this website is going to be competing with Aipna's new social media platforms. But we need your help. We need your help in moving forward with this. So how can you help us? We need helping hands to feed and monitor the website. We need educational material that we can share with our attendees and audiences. We need sponsorships and donations to grow and to further our initiatives. We need continuous feedback for improvement and ideas for a better future. And the other initiative that we're going to do is called as News Bites. The idea is to send a monthly short email with little news bites from Aipna members. It could be a personal or professional accomplishment, like a new job promotion, a publication, or something on your personal front that you want to share. Please share with us. We look forward to hearing from you, and we want to share it with the rest of the Aipna team. So Web Committee is very thankful to Anil for his exemplary leadership and vision. Shantu and Ramu are ID experts for their continuous and prompt support. Senior members of Aipna for their blessings and feedback, and junior members for their enthusiasm and hard work, and getting Aipna's name out to the next generation of pathologists. So thank you very much. I thank you on behalf of Aipna. Please help us grow and keep giving your blessings.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Monica, for that excellent presentation. A lot has to be done, miles and miles to go, and we just need your help. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is really my distinct pleasure to announce that among our esteemed invited guests today, we have certain stalwarts in the CAP. They're not only stalwarts in the CAP as governing members, they are involved very heavily with the advocacy of pathology in our country and which also affects the whole world. We have Pat Godby and Rick Gomez, Eric Glassy and others, but there are a few candidates who, I actually made the initiative. They didn't ask me, I made the initiative. I said that, hey, you guys are coming. Would you like to talk? Because few of them are standing for governance posts, for positions in the CAP governing body. They're already, some of them are, they're already CAP governors, some of them. So I have the distinct pleasure of first inviting Don Karcher. He is standing for president-elect for CAP. And so Don, I would request you to kindly address the audience.
So thanks very much, Anil. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. So hi, everyone. It's great to be here at tonight's Aipna meeting. This is my 5th Aipna meeting, and I have many friends and colleagues in this great organization. In fact, I've been so impressed with the work of Aipna over the years and felt so welcome each time I've attended an Aipna meeting that I decided to join myself, and I'm now a proud Aipna member myself. In addition to not being able to see everyone in person tonight, my other great regret is that we can't all be enjoying the wonderful food that's usually served at Aipna meetings. I really miss that. I am particularly honored to be sharing the Zoom stage tonight with Dr. Nathwani. As you saw on the chat earlier, I'm a hematopathologist, and Dr. Nathwani has been one of my great heroes for many years. I really enjoyed your talk tonight, Dr. Nathwani. Thanks very much. As many of you know, I'm at George Washington University in Washington, D.C., where I've served as chair of pathology for 20 years. I'm also proud to say that I've been in private practice, and I've even served as an Army pathologist for a few years. So I've experienced many different practice settings in my career. I was president of the Association of Pathology Chairs a few years ago, and I've now been a member of the CAP Board of Governors for 5 years. As Anil mentioned, I'm currently a candidate for CAP president-elect. In my work in both the APC and the CAP, I've tried hard to further the interest of pathology and pathologists, including private practice pathologists and academic pathologists. My feeling has always been that everything that we do for our profession and for our fellow pathologists ultimately benefits our patients. And that's what I think should always be the focus of the CAP. If elected, I will first make sure that the CAP continues to strongly advocate, both at the federal and state levels, for the things that pathologists and clinical laboratories need: fair payment for our services, a favorable regulatory environment, and help when we need it during emergencies such as COVID-19. As you know, not all advocacy takes place in Washington. Much of it is at the state level. And that's why I would make it a priority for the CAP to support and work closely with state and local pathology societies. Next, I will make sure that the CAP provides the best possible educational resources for pathologists in all practice settings, at our national meetings, online, and hopefully soon on our brand new CAP mobile app. We need the CAP to help us be the best pathologists we can be. Finally, and very importantly, I will make sure that we bring full diversity and inclusion to the CAP leadership. We need to make sure that the leadership of the CAP looks like the membership of the CAP. I served for 2 years as chair of the CAP Council on Government and Professional Affairs, leading the CAP's advocacy activities. I currently serve as chair of the Council on Education, leading the CAP's educational enterprise. So I've personally led in leading the first 2 of my priorities. Speaking of diversity in pathology and in the CAP, I'm currently leading a new CAP pipeline initiative to increase the number of medical students and graduates choosing a career in pathology. A major part of this initiative is to encourage more minority and foreign graduate medical students and graduates to become pathologists. So I'm currently directly involved in the CAP's diversity initiative as well. I believe I have the experience, leadership skills, and passion for pathology to be an effective CAP president. I would truly be honored to have your support and your vote in the upcoming election. And if elected, I would look forward to working with all of you on all of the very important work that we have to do for our profession. So thanks very much, Anil, for giving me the chance to say a few things about my candidacy.
Thank you, Don. Next up, I have the pleasure of calling Tim Allen. Tim Allen is another aspirant for the president-elect position. So, Tim, you're on.
Thank you, Anil. I appreciate the invitation to speak to the team today. Excellent talk. I'm not a hematopathologist. I'm a pulmonary pathologist. But if I can go back to my residence tomorrow and speak with such elegance and practicality, I'll be a better pathologist for it. And congratulations to all the winners of the awards. Excellent abstracts, of course. I don't want to step on Dr. Joshi's toes, so I'm going to speak just a couple of minutes here and let her take on the continuation of this session. I am running for president-elect of the College of American Pathologists. I am a pulmonary pathologist. I am the chair at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. I've been here for 3.5 years, where I came from, University of Texas Medical Branch. I have served as president of the Pulmonary Pathology Society. I've served as president of the Texas Society of Pathologists. I spent 6 years on the Board of Governors, 5 of which I was chair of the CMPD, Council of Membership and Professional Development. The first year I was vice chair under my good friend. And by the way, Dr. Glassy has picked up from me. Dr. Glassy is now the chair of CMPD and carrying on the torch very well. As has been said, advocacy, it has to be considered as a stalwart of the College of American Pathologists. The CAP is the society that advocates for pathologists, because if we do not get paid, nothing else really matters. But if we do work hard, make sure our payments come our way, I think we must spend the next several years considering artificial intelligence and how that's going to affect us. We need to embrace it and not let it embrace us. We need to continue to build our concept of digital and how we can utilize that best. I do think it's very important that we look to train our junior residents, fellows, and even our new in practice team to work hard to engage in the future. This is going to be very different from what we've had. The college also has been working more and more to reach out internationally. I think we need to not only continue that, but expand that, because I think the borders of medicine are falling apart, and we need to make sure that we are there to support our colleagues around the world who support us. With that, I know I'm about 3 minutes in. I don't want to step on Dr. Joshi's time. If you have any questions at all, send me an email. It's tcallen, TCALLEN @umc.edu. That's TCALLEN @umc.edu. And if you have a minute, go to my candidacy website. It's www.timallenfcap.com. Tim Allen, FCAP, Fellow of the College of American Pathologists.com. Again, thank you very much for letting me speak. I wish we were seeing each other in person. Virtual works, but I really do miss shaking hands and speaking with our friends. So hopefully this won't last forever, and we'll be back seeing each other face to face soon. Thank you again. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Tim. That was great. I now have the pleasure of calling upon Megha Joshi, our very own. And of course, and I have to tell you this, Aipna is a non-profit organization. We're totally non-parochial. And, I saw, and this is a spur of the moment decision on my part. I didn't take the EC's approval here. I saw Leilani Valdez's name as one of the participants in the chat box. And I immediately chatted her and I asked her, are you willing to talk? Because, I just want to make it all fair and even, just like I had Don and Tim. And so Megha, after Megha, just to warn you guys, if you don't see it in the agenda, Leilani Valdez will be also addressing you. So Megha, take it away, please.
Can you hear me? Can I share my screen?
Yes.
So first of all, I'd like to thank Anil for giving me this opportunity to be with the Aipna family. So I really want your blessings as I run for the Board of Governors. And I assure you, I'll be your voice, the voice of the foreign medical graduate, proud foreign medical graduate, a community hospital pathologist, and also a practicing pathologist on the cusp of transformation from ownership to a salaried position to be owned by an equity firm. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are very close to my heart. And I want to realize, as Dr. Karcher said, CAP's vision of increasing diversity, increasing equity, and increasing inclusion, and getting more Black, Latina, and Spanish-speaking healthcare professionals, so that the healthcare professionals reflect the population that we serve. The field for Board of Governors is crowded, and I'm happy to tell you that there are 4 women running. I happen to be the only one person of color, and as I'll say to you, the Desi pathologist. CAP has been a family, a home away from home, has welcomed me as an HOD member, allowed me to be the chair of the mass delegation, has brought me into committees and councils. But my greatest pleasure has been in 2020, working with Lilani on diversity, inclusion, and equity. I've served in a leadership position as member. I am serving as a leadership position as a sergeant at arms in the HODSC, and I want to continue to serve CAP that has done so much for me as a medical director, as a private pathologist, keeping me up to date with cancer checklists. So I want to give back, and as a Board of Governor, it's honored me, and it has, it has truly made me feel not the other. It has really helped me be CAP. What will I bring? I'll bring a global perspective. As a board certified pathologist from India and intimately involved with Aipna for 25 years, I know how pathology is practiced around the world, and that vision will be important. As we work, CAP has so much to offer to the entire pathology community around the world. The myriad and the amount of knowledge it has through all American universities can be shared digitally and virtually with all our colleagues around the world. And I will implore CAP to do just that. I hope to follow in the spirit of service of Bharati Zaveri, and I hope to make all my teachers in India, all my pathology colleagues in India and here proud. India is a great country that has given the world yoga, which means union, harmony, shanti, peace. I believe in the Sanskrit shloka of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, means the whole world is our family. And I hope to bring that vision to CAP, to make it digitally savvy, so that at a click of the mouse, we can answer all questions, and CAP will become the WebMD of all things pathology. As you and I know, many of our brothers, sisters, family members, all are in the software industry. And India is only 75 years since independence, and CAP is also 75 years. And India has done so much in the digital revolution, and CAP has done so much in the pathology world in 75 years. And together, we can really care for patients all around the world if we sort of work smartly past COVID in a virtual globalized world. So I want to say namaskaram, salam alaikum, God bless IPNA and God bless CAP. Thank you.
Thank you, Megha. That was an excellent presentation. I was just looking at the attendee list and I saw Bharti Jhaveri's name. So thanks, Bharti, for being here and always supporting us. You've been an inspiration and a role model, like Megha mentioned, for all of us here. So thank you for that. And now, the lady whom I put on the spot here, Leilani, please take it away. She's also running for a member of Board of Governors.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me? I'm just checking to make sure my sound's loud enough. Excellent. And thank you so much for allowing me to have the very end of your meeting. I know I'm all that's standing between you and everyone's Sunday, the rest of the Sunday evening. For the East Coasters, it's really late at night. So thank you for letting me have this opportunity to greet you all. This is my first meeting with all of you, but I am a member. I saw your Facebook post. It was effective. I knew I wanted to be a part of this organization because I saw that your guest speaker was Dr. Nathwani, who I had the privilege of training with at LA County USC during my residency. And although I did not become a hematopathologist, I actually did a fellowship in dermatopathology at Duke after training at LA County USC. I have taken his love of histology to heart, and his number one tenet in his talk tonight about you can't diagnose what you don't know was echoed by my own pathologist father, who is a foreign medical grad pathologist who practiced in Texas, in Victoria, Texas, where I currently practice now. He said to me in residency, he said, Leilani, the most important thing you need to know is to identify what you don't know. And I think that advice tied into what Dr. Nathwani taught me and many other residents. And it's what really guides kind of what I do as far as a member of the medical community, as a pathologist, and as a good citizen promoting public health in my own community. It's what drove me to volunteer with Dr. Jhaveri, Bharti. I'm so glad you're here to go inspect labs in India. And that inspection tour taught me an amazing amount about the laboratory inspection process and about the wonderful work being done in India, and just the incredible people practicing pathology and medicine there. And then I've had the privilege of also working with members like Megha Joshi, as she said, on the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee. That's been such incredible work. Another committee work with Vijay Reddy. These are people who I learn from all the time. And that is what my CAP experience has brought to me, a very long learning experience, which I hope to continue. And in my mind, that helps continue moving our specialty and the CAP forward. And it's about asking the right questions, right? Asking what you don't know to discover what the possibilities are. And all of these things that have been discussed very eloquently by the other candidates are important. Advocacy, the future pipeline of pathology, AI and where it fits into how we work and what we do. But if we aren't asking the right questions about how that's going to get accomplished, we're missing a chance to really provide input and move our specialty forward in the years to come. And so that's my goal as a CAP governor. If you'll elect me, I will represent all of you, all CAP members, and I will get all the information I need and to help me do that. And I want you to talk to me. I want you to talk to me about your ideas and let me ask you questions about how you feel about the specialty of pathology and where we can go from here. So I've put my email and my phone number in the chat. I don't mind phone calls. I don't mind texts. I don't mind emails. I'd love to hear from you. I'm excited to be part of this group moving forward, and I'm thrilled with all the good work I see you doing to inspire leadership. And I really am thrilled to be part of this community. And thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to all of you.
Thank you, Leilani. Wonderful, wonderful job. Thank you, all of you. I wish all of you prospective, you're not prospective, you're already candidates, but prospectively going to hold, I wish you all the best to so that all your dreams come true, you know. And we're all there, you know, we pathologists are all there to support you guys, you know. It's not easy. And what you guys are doing is just hats off to all of you. Thank you. In that line of thought, saying thank you, I want to now ask Dr. Bushnurmat to express our gratitude from the EC members, on behalf of the EC members, on my behalf and everyone else. So Dr. Bush, the last item in the agenda, but the most important, take it away.
Anil, I thought we are doing some door prizes raffles.
Oh, yes. So thank you for reminding me. See, you know, I always need someone to check. So so this is something which we just started. You know, how do we do door raffle prizes in a virtual setting, right? And so we, with the help of our IT support, Ramu and Monica and all the web team and social media team, we came up with a kind of a make do here. So when you guys registered, we all got your emails and it was all in a spreadsheet. Okay. And the spreadsheet has numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It goes on up to 342 or something as of now. I don't know. And so, Dr. Bush, you're going to pick up random numbers. And I think Monica has the actual spreadsheet against those numbers. And if there is a number which matches and you guys are there, please say hi and you get a gift certificate. It's not a biggie. It's just, I think, what is it? It's about $25 as approved by our treasurer, Viju. Each one of you gets a small gift. It's just a token of our appreciation for being here and spending some of your Sunday with us. So take it away, Bush. You start off.
Thank you, Anil. Just to be unbiased, I asked my wife, Dr. Bharati, who is also part of the Aipna, to choose the numbers, and here they are. One is 125, 125.
Okay. Okay.
Monica, what's the name?
Yeah, I have to exit full screen. Okay, now I can do. I was trying to figure out how to get to the Excel sheet that I have. Okay, 125 is Dr. Nayana Talukdar.
Is she there? You got to be there to win this. It's a door prize.
Okay, is Dr. Nayana Talukdar there? Okay.
I don't see any
No.
raising
So
of hands.
let's pick another then.
Sure.
Okay.
237.
Sure. 237 is Dhaneshwar Lanjivar, Dr. Lanjivar.
Oh, he was there. I saw him there.
Yep.
We saw him there. He was there in the beginning of the meeting for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I think we'll have to give it to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He was there in the meeting.
So congratulations, Dr. Lanjevar.
Okay. Next one is 1717.
1717 is Kavita Sharma.
Kavita, are you there?
Okay, you can pick
No.
next one, maybe.
Okay. Next one.
64.
Sure. 64 is Ashish Jain.
Ashish Jain. Okay.
No.
Not there.
180. 180.
Sure. 180 is Astha Kapoor.
Not there.
Not there.
Many are left. 111.
Yep. It's Nupur Jadhav.
Not there. They all got tired and left.
86.
86 is Pradeep Rudra.
Not there.
There. 177.
177 is Supriya Tiwari.
Not there. 36.
36 is Rajak M.
No.
No.
218.
218. Shweta Paluru.
Oh, she's from DC, Virginia. She was there earlier. She chatted with me.
Oh,
okay. So we can give it to her so long as
Yep.
she was there. All
Yep.
right. So the second prize goes to Shweta.
Yep.
Okay. Next one is 45. 45.
Yes. 45 is Monira Haq.
Not there.
Not there. 117.
117 is Amarpreet Bhalla. I saw a message from Amarpreet
Yeah, there
Bhalla
was a
about
message
the
from her.
He was there. Yeah.
I'm here. Thank you so much.
Oh, hi.
Oh, you're there. Congratulations.
Very good.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yep.
3 hits. Next is 220. 220.
220 is Richard Gomez. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, Dr. Gomez was there too.
oh my God, Rick. You get some money from us.
Yeah.
You know, he was he's a treasurer of CAP.
Oh, lovely.
It's wonderful.
All right.
Okay.
So we give
So
it
how
to
many
him.
down?
One more. We need one more.
One more. 94.
94 is WSB Herat from National Hospital of Sri Lanka.
Herat. No.
No, I don't.
136.
Okay. 136. Deval Patel.
Patel. Okay. 280.
280. Okay, 280 is 1 second. I'll give you the. It's Dr. Dhanpat Jain.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, he was there.
He was there. He was there.
He left about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So
All
that's
right.
it.
I think we got 5 winners here.
Yeah, my expertise with numbers was getting challenged. So I was going to run out very soon. So I'm grateful to Anil for giving me this responsibility of dispersing the crowd with my thank you speech. Before I start saying my thank you, my own personal congratulations to Anil and Vinny, very well-deserved awards, and all the abstract award winners. Congratulations to all of you. We are grateful to the leadership of CAP and ASCAP, who are part of our association all the time and have blessed us by attending this meeting. Renuka was the backbone for today's meeting, and she really went through day and night of hard work to get it together. So Renuka, thank you very, very much. And Monica, the brain behind the website, she also worked a lot for this meeting. Thank you very much. The brain behind the website is Ramu. He's been quiet, but he has made an impossible task possible with his personal input into that. Thank you, Ramu. Vinny for all the background work for this meeting. Safina prepared the abstract award, so thank you to her. Akisha has been sending out the newsletters and messages. Thank you to her. Raghu and Rifat, they are our social media group who have been hosting this meeting too. Rifat was with Dr. Bharat Nathwani for helping with the presentation. And of course, Anil, who fought against all odds to get this virtual meeting made possible. And at this time, we would have served all the Indian dishes in Mega Joshi style. The aroma would have filled the rooms, and there'll be clinking sounds of the forks, spoons, and the plates. Hopefully, next year we'll meet in person and recap that magic. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening, and wish you all the best. Renuka, you can take over from now.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening and enjoy your dinner in your own houses. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, my team.
Thank
Amazing
you.
job.
Thank you.
Raghav, everyone. Thanks.
Congrats,
Excellent
Anil.
job.
So
Excellent
nice
job,
to see
team.
you guys. So nice to see you. Just
Thank
so
you.
nice.
We miss you, Dr. Megha.
Thanks, Don and Eric,
Thank you.
all
And
of you guys. You know, Pat was there, and all of you, Ashraf and Ranga. I can see you now. Thanks for being there, and yeah, we'll be in touch. Jim.
We don't have
Great
the
job.
delicious food, but we can get our cocktails.
Great job.
Great job, everybody.
Next year.
Anil, thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Anil.
Thank you, Tim, and
Anil, congratulations.
thank
Bharti.
you, Bharti.
Great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good
Great to
job.
see you, Marty.
Background, Romil and
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.